Welcome to Tonight in America. I'm your host, Dontarius Jones, and we have an exciting show tonight for you. Welcome back to a excellent Wednesday morning. Technically, it's 3:39, but this will be Wednesday afternoon at our new time slot, 6 p.m. I'm experimenting with new time slots right now, so I'm currently trying to find the perfect time slot to upload so where we can get more views, of course. And as you see right now, also, I've also added new thumbnails to my previous new videos, the Nick Fuentes versus the Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson interview recently that dropped a couple of weeks ago that I reacted to. I added a thumbnail to that. And then I also added a thumbnail to my last video covering the Marjorie Taylor Greene resignation, the Minnesota fraud with the Somalians, and also the impending war with Venezuela. Gave a little update on that to let you know what was going on and how close are we to going to war. It is very close, very, very close. You know, right now, currently speaking, I'm going to cover more about that tomorrow on the next episode, because right now Hegseth is in big trouble. He is under hot waters for possibly ordering a follow-up strike that killed two survivors of the most previous strike, because allegedly he has a kill all order, basically meaning no survivors. So I'm going to give a quick update about that tomorrow. Again, we're going to talk about Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption case and what's going on with that right now in Israel. And he just recently asked the Israeli president to give him a pardon. We should probably react to like the BB files at some point, because that documentary pretty much goes over a little bit of his corruption case right now, among other things. I don't really know full information about the BB files because I never watched the documentary, but I'll get around to watching it at some point. So, but right now we have two videos we're reacting to today. So this is why I'm not wearing a suit. I'm in regular attire tonight. I'm not dressed for a news show, more like a reaction show. So today is more of a reaction. Like I said, it's not our usual forte. You know, usually I'm dressed up. We're talking news, we're talking politics. But again, I want to be an all-around content creator. I don't just want to focus on just politics, of course. I want to make this fun for everyone. So, of course, we got two videos. One is one journalist versus 20 woke liberals. It's Pierce Morgan versus 20 woke liberals. And we have a journalist documentary called Inside India's Poop Thorn Festival by Tyler Oliver. This one was a very popular one. Let me turn my phone on silent mode. All right. Just to make sure we got no more distractions. So let me know in the comment section how you like about today's episode. One of our, I guess you can call this like a cultural episode, like me covering the culture or whatever. And give me a like, you know, I'll give it a follow. I'm gonna start rolling out clips this week. Yeah, we need to start rolling out some clips. So we need clips back out, and I'm gonna get back on that. I'm sorry for me being inconsistent with that. I've been very busy with a lot of things, so I'm trying to be back more on a full content creation thing when I'm trying to release a video every day, whether it be me covering politics, you know, 3 hours video, or it's going to be me just reacting to stuff. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into our first one. We're going to do the Jubilee debate. So this one is going to go to five, and as you can tell, the mic sounds better, and then the video would sound a lot better too as well, because I fixed the audio issues right now. So we should not have any more trouble with the audio. I know for like the Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes video, the audio kind of sounds a little conjointed in some cases, but you can still hear how clearly them speaking. You know, it sounds better than it should have been. But hey, this video is going to be a lot better, of course.
way. Is participation trophy not being there? Have you been on your own show? You interrupted me the whole time, and now you're just getting the same thing.
So me telling you that you are spreading misinformation, that is not fascism. That is just me telling you you're wrong.
But you're not telling me I'm wrong because I'm right. Hi, I'm Piers Morgan, and I'm the host of Piers Morgan Uncensored on YouTube. I'm also the author of a new book, Woke is Dead, and today I'm surrounded by 20, apparently still alive, woke liberals. My first surrounded claim is that masculinity has never been toxic. That's it. How do you do? I'm Piers.
So I guess where I want to kind of start is talking about masculinity. So I view this, do you think that this is like socially emergent, I imagine, to some degree?
Oh, shit. Oh, man, I know this fucking girl. Oh, fuck. I've seen her debate Myron Gaines a bunch of times. I've seen her debate Andrew Wilson, Jay Dyer. My God, bro. This girl's not the best debater on the planet. She's just the most moronic debater on the planet because, like, she'll debate the subject of the debate. She won't even debate that. She'll go into it to a microscopic level. She would just debate it on, like, a different plane to where she's not even debating the point anymore. She's just going at it from a different perspective. Even though technically she agrees with the already established statement or the prompt, she'll just go into, like, this otherworldly type of debate, which is kind of annoying in some cases, but it doesn't really win any debates at all. Quite frankly, it just means she just will yap her ass off, which is very annoying.
Well, I think the truth about the whole toxic debate about masculinity is it's a completely new phenomenon. Before, about 30 years ago, nobody ever used that phrase. It's only really in the last 10 years it's suddenly been amplified and used for absolutely everything. So I thought it might be useful to just start with something that Chris Williamson, you may know him, great guy, and he came on my show recently, and he said that all the following things have been blamed on toxic masculinity in the media in the last year and a half. Gang violence, climate change, the financial crisis, Brexit, the election of Donald Trump, not wearing a face mask, eating meat, physical fitness, fast food, capitalism, communism, hip-hop, smelling of Axe body spray, being stoic, risk-taking, religion, but also secularism and atheism, playing board games, being interested in cars, and saying hello or have a nice day. So I've already committed at least one crime because I've already said hello to you. So my point being, it's become this... Sorry?
Because I'm actually very offended by that too.
No, the thing is, I think the point I would make is, I think in a time when young men in particular, I've got 3 sons, from 32 to 24, I think we've got to a weird place where they feel like they are the most downtrodden, picked upon people in society, with good reason in many cases. And a lot of it is down to this, where they don't know what masculinity is. My argument is, I don't think it's ever been toxic. What's happened is you have men behaving badly, but you also have women behaving badly, and no one calls that toxic femininity.
Well, I actually do call it toxic femininity. I think when you look at, when you look at like gender studies and philosophy on this, right, we use this term called masculinities and femininities because we understand that like the samurai era of masculinity looks very different than maybe the knights of the round table and whatnot. So we understand that masculinity has so much morphed and shifted. And in every form of these masculinities or femininities, there are unhealthy elements to each of them. Could you grant me that?
Well, it depends what you mean. I mean, what do you think masculinity is?
In our society, I think masculinity...
No, not in your society. Just generally, what is it?
Yeah, in North America, we would broadly view it as like...
You've got to say North America. Masculinity is a thing. It's not like territory specific. It has become that way with a toxic element. Well, actual masculinity, when it was first devised as a word, it's not an American thing, it's a global thing.
Do you think that Athenian masculinity and Spartan masculinity were the same in the Greeks?
I think masculinity has never changed. All that's changed is the interpretation of it. And what I can't abide is this modern phenomenon that everything about masculinity, everything about being a man, which I am currently identifying as, everything about me is supposedly toxic.
So I would reject the idea that everything that masculinity is toxic. I think that there can be bad elements of anything.
What do you like about men?
What do I like about men? Lots of things. I think that like the idea of protectionism is good. I think the willingness to kind of like self-sacrifice is very tied to the version of masculinity we have. I think that that's a very good thing. I think the desire to provide is also a really good thing, and stand up for like principles and strength. I think all of these things are wonderful things. Well, the issue,
like men to be hunters, providers, protectors.
I don't really care about them being hunters.
Really? Well, how are they going to get all these things to help you in protection?
In this economy, I'd prefer them just to be like physically capable. Let's go back to the Athenians. Let's go back to Athenians and Spartans, though, right? If you want to say masculinity has always been the same, well, the issue is history would disagree with you, right? In Athens, for example, it was completely normal for you to participate in civility and talk and do philosophy, but Spartan men, for example, wouldn't even touch coins, but they viewed it as a very different thing.
What's that got to do with them being masculine?
Well, because the version of masculinity that they had viewed certain things like commerce as feminine. If you go to samurais, they view poetry as masculine, whereas if you go to like Victorian era, poetry is often associated with femininity.
Okay, but what does any of that got to do with toxic masculinity?
Because if we look at masculinity, we have to acknowledge that it is emergent out of a society that we are participating in. When I said, well, in North America, you rejected that and go, well, that's the foundational piece of this. What we're talking about, toxic masculinity, is essentially a North American version of masculinity that we seem to not like.
Well, no, it's not. It's a symptom of, and forgive my phraseology here, but it's a symptom of weak, whiny, woke wastrels who've decided they're going to revise what masculinity is.
I think it's a generational
hang on, I'll give you a chance to respond. And they're going to make all men feel terrible. They're going to make men hate themselves. They're going to make everybody else hate men. men. And at that point, I'm like, what are you doing here? Why would women, for example, want their men to be weak, whiny, woke wastrels?
Well, I think the issue that you're neglecting here is the high levels of intergenerational trauma amongst men. I mean, if we go back to World War II, it's followed by the Vietnam War, right? We see men dying by the thousands, when then they come back and they have PTSD, and then they go off again and die by the thousands. And so when we look at like the lack of masculinity and masculine role models, we have to understand this through a lens of understanding that like men have been like scooped out and killed over and over, and then when they come back, they're destroyed. And there isn't really an answer for men. I agree that there's a systemic lacking of answer on the left for men in a lot of ways. The issue is that we can't address the problem.
I mean,
just to pause you.
They do. Even movies like Barbie.
I'm left.
Okay. Here's a little secret for you. I'm slightly left. I'm an old-fashioned liberal.
You hate men?
I'm not a. You see, they all think probably I'm a right-wing headbanger. I'm not. I'm an old-fashioned liberal. I believe in liberalism, and I believe there's nothing wrong with being feminine or masculine. I hate the way that masculinity has been tarred with this brush of everything about it is toxic.
I agree, but the issue is that you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to look at things like Victorian Stoicism and recognize how that has harmed young men. Because
Stoicism? Don't be ridiculous.
Hold on, Victorian Stoicism, not Greek, not Greco-Stoicism.
Stoicism generally is a good trait.
I love Stoicism, Hellenistic Stoicism, not Greek.
Well, let me read you something. You've raised Stoicism. The American Psychological Association released a set of guidelines to help psychologists work with men and boys, in which it stated that male masculine traits like stoicism, competitiveness, achievement, eschewal of the appearance of weakness, adventure, and risk should all be discarded. Now, I would categorize all of those things as the very best of being a real man. Why would you want them discarded?
I don't want most of those things. Let's talk about Stoicism.
I think we agree with each other. I think you agree with me too much. Anyway, it's lovely to meet you. Okay.
Bro. Oh my God. I can't listen
Hi,
to this.
Cheers. Ceci.
Ceci, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Okay, first I want to say that I don't think that masculinity is toxic.
Here comes the pink hair. You know when they have the pink hair. Oh my gosh. It was even more so. Well, she got the piercings too, the nose piercing, and then she got the lip piercing. Oh man. She's about to go full on toxic masculinity rhetoric 101. When you keynote guys, if you ever want to see what a toxic feminine woman it looks like, she always has pink hair or colorful hair. Any colorful hair of the rainbows, I'll try to find the word for it. Of the rainbow community, you already know that they're already about to be on some mental health crisis. They're finna be blowing up your shit, bro. Literally. Like these chicks with the pink hairs, the purple hairs, the blue hairs, they're insane bitches, man.
Great.
I just think
Debate
that
over.
some men use their. Wait.
Debate over.
No, it's
That's
not.
the whole point
the
of my
problem
argument.
is no, because you're talking about a trait, right? So I don't think masculinity is toxic. I think men use their masculinity in toxic ways or hide other traits that are toxic behind their masculinity.
Okay, I don't agree with that. Here's why. They're not using their masculinity. They're just being bad people.
Okay.
So
but
I think there's a clear difference.
So then men like Andrew Tate, when they are bad people, but then stand like, I'm a protector, I'm a provider, they're using their masculinity.
I've interviewed Andrew Tate a number of times. Here's what I think about him. I think he says a lot of things which young men gravitate to because very few other people are trying to empower them about the way they look. Hang on.
No, I'm not.
Let me finish my sentence.
I can have a facial reaction to it if I want to, right?
Actually, that's fair enough.
Right.
He can look horrified. But here's the point about Andrew Tate, is a lot of the things he says, I know why they resonate with young men. Okay. Because young men feel sort of worthless, they feel disenfranchised by society, they're not sure where to go. Many of them lack father figures. There's chest-beating Andrew Tate saying, keep fit, don't abuse yourself too much.
Just women.
Well, I'm going to come to that. And so he says all these things, which men go, yeah, that's good. Aspire to be great, aspire to be successful, do this, work hard, and all this. And then you get to his blatant misogyny, right? He is a terrible misogynist. He thinks that women should be left at home, never allowed to vote.
That's funny how Pierce still doesn't get it, man. The reason why Andrew Tate is so successful is not because he's a misogynist, because he says the truth about women. Myron Gaines is the same reason. Why is he so successful? Because he says the truth about women. Like Nick Fuentes doesn't, still an incel, says the truth about women. The reason why these guys are so popular in the rhetoric when it comes to towards describing women and describing their nature and describing how they feel towards men and exactly how giving them rights was a mistake, quite frankly, and how it's polluted and pretty much ruined today's society because women have rights. It just goes to show you that not many people are willing to call this out at that type of level. There are some guys out here that'll bait that and won't be as aggressive with the rhetoric, won't tell the truth as much as they would, won't go to the extreme lengths of getting the message across in like an extreme, directive manner, because the simple reason is because a lot of guys are scared access to the box. Quite frankly, if you're scared to lose opportunities to sex towards women, then by definition, you're a cuck to women. So no one can really trust your message to get across enough because you're still cuck to the women. You still can't come off as being as a leader per se in this revolution, in this red pill like revolution when it comes to fighting against feminism. Feminism has polluted these young women's minds. Really not even young, it's old, young, middle-aged, doesn't really matter. Some of them could be in their 50s and they're still out there living like a young woman, not having children, drinking every night, going to a bar, having meaningless sex with just a bunch of random guys they meet over there. They're not married, they have no children, they have no legacy, they have nothing to look for. They can't wake up little Johnny so he get on the bus, go to school, enjoy his day, while his mom stays home, gets the house ready while the husband's at work. And that type of loss for women, it's really what eats at them every day. That's the reason why like a lot of these young women today are on antidepressants. They're drinking so much alcohol. They're doing so much drugs. It's that lack of fulfillment. And women's fulfillment isn't a career, isn't a college education. It isn't doing all the things that a man does. No, it's more of like being a stay-at-home wife, raising children, and ensuring they grow up not being degenerates. It takes two to tango, because like you need the nurturer and you need the disciplinary, which is the father who comes in there and does his job as a disciplinary as he's supposed to, because he is the head of the household. Women need to follow. And who do they follow? They follow the men who leads the way, leads the household, pretty much leads the revolutions. So women ain't starting revolutions. That's the man. So when we come out here to Piers Morgan, he come out here saying he's just a blank, straight up misogynist. That's just Pierce's liberal mindset kicking in, because he just views women and just feel like they should have the rights they have. They should have the opportunities that they have. Women aren't dumb like men, even though a staggering majority of them are. You might have a few exceptions to the rule, but yeah, it's not that many. So I disagree with him about labeling Andrew Tate a misogynist. Quite frankly, Andrew Tate's a truth teller. That's what he really is. A real leader in this movement to fight against feminism. That's what the true red pill is.
They're allowed to work. No, but my point is, I agree with you about that trait of his, right? I think it's horrible, but that's not toxic masculinity. That is actually misogyny. There's a word for it.
I guess the reason, but I think that all of this was fueled by people like Andrew Tate, because like you said, toxic masculinity, we've never spoke about this before, but I think the reason it's on the table now is because of men like Andrew Tate. It's not because of women calling men
so call
toxic.
It what it is. Call
it's
him,
literally because red pill podcasters, especially during the pandemic, if you were already a loner, you became even more alone, so they needed a community. So everyone's living life online in these, what they thought was a community, because all these men did was validate their shitty feelings that they already had about themselves. It was an echo chamber, and they have to keep them sad and angry, tell them to place the blame on women and minorities.
They always default to this type of mentality when it comes to describing men. It's so funny to me to listen to this and then just listen to them like they get so mad when men want to hold them accountable, but then they just want to put it back on the man and say this is all your fault, really. And in some cases they're right. It is the man's fault for falling for the women revolution and just giving in, just giving them the rights. But of course, we all know who was behind the women's revolution. Let's just say it's the ones right now that are running our politics, running our financial systems, where we're giving them billions of dollars in aid, and we're fighting their forever wars for them. So yeah, they was behind feminism too. Matter of fact, feminism was their creation.
So they get their pockets filled. They monetize insecurities and trauma. You can have your facial reactions. Go ahead.
Politely. Go ahead. I think what you're talking about is misogyny. There's already a word for that. It's not toxic masculinity. That's the point of my argument. I don't think masculinity has ever been toxic. I do think some men are horrible misogynists.
But do you think some of them hide behind it?
I call them out.
Don't you think some men hide behind their masculinity? I'm sick of hearing men say, we have to protect and provide.
Why shouldn't we?
Well, no. But the thing is half of you, what are you going to protect me from? Another man. And half of them can't hunt down a job. Like, I don't know.
Or other women.
Or other women, sure, yeah, other people. But that's the thing I'm saying is that men, I don't understand why. I feel like a lot of blame gets placed on women for all of this, but in reality, you've done it to each other.
I don't blame women for
You've done it to each other.
I don't blame women for any of this. I think well, actually, that's not completely true. I blame some women who have deliberately, in my opinion, like a lot of men have done too, taken the word masculinity and they have traduced it into meaning something it was never intended to mean. Like I said, those words, which the American Psychological Association have deemed unacceptable and should be discarded, are all the absolute foundation of what I believe it takes to be a man.
Oh, damn it. I wanted
Just when we're getting to know each other.
pick me for last 10. I got a lot to say.
I'll think about it. How are you?
Ah, shit.
What's your name? Parker. Parker. Yes.
I've been on your show, bro.
Yes, I thought I recognized you. When was that?
After the Jordan Peterson Jubilee debate.
Yes, that's right, you
Yeah,
did.
he has quoted us as atheists on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I think it was ridiculous. I'm literally straight, but
Oh, you're straight.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I can understand why you find that annoying.
Oh, I don't find it annoying.
I don't believe that dude at all. He literally on the stream says, I believe I'm not going to say what he said verbatim. So I'm going to paraphrase it exactly. But I think there was a caller that called into his show and asked him would he date trans people. And does he view a trans woman, which would be a man transitioning to a woman, as a woman, and would he date her? And Parker did not deny that at all, quite frankly. So that kind of begs the question: is he gonna date a trans woman? I gotta stop saying that. I don't know why I'm even saying that. Would he date a man? So I don't know about him being straight. That's a question mark, a big giant question mark about if he's straight or not. So I don't know, quite frankly. I don't think he's straight. I mean, just look at him. He's gonna say right now in this exchange between him and Piers Morgan that he goes to a therapist. What's straight about going to a therapist?
I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to use that as an argument. But in
I will
general,
not call you a gaytheist.
okay, in general, the point that I would make here is that
He is a
toxic
gaytheist.
masculinity is kind of an overexpression of certain masculine traits that we see in this certain context to be harmful. We're not saying all masculine traits are harmful or it's harmful to be a masculine man. It's certain characteristics that we would
Which
associate with
masculine trait
masculinity.
do you think is harmful?
Yeah, like for example, an overexpression of stoicism. And I think that a lot of red pill people.
What?
Wait, hold on, let me explain. I said an overexpression.
How
of
come
stoicism.
stoicism?
There's no such thing as expressing stoicism. Bro, I'm telling you. Bro, once you go down the woke route, you just literally just hate yourself as a man. I'm telling you. Becoming a liberal or becoming woke, you literally hate yourself as a man. That's why I just can't do it. I love myself as a man, not to hate myself. And like, I think when you become woke, you become a leftist, a progressive, you literally just trade in your balls and you become something. I don't know what you become, quite frankly. It's disturbing. Like, this is what this kid become, man. Imagine this kid actually just goes to the gym, work out, you know, take Andrew Tate's advice, you know. If he was young, maybe he wouldn't watch all the fag movies. I'm on YouTube. If he didn't watch all the gay movies and just watch Andrew Tate a lot and then just tell women, what color is your Bugatti? He wouldn't be such an idiot right now. Because listen to the asinine argument that this kid's about to start making when it comes to his exchange with Piers Morgan right now. It's insufferable.
Ever
overexpressed?
ever be a bad thing? Explain to me.
Yeah, so again, if you were to specifically hide your feelings and put them underneath, specifically for, like, say, the death of a loved one, I don't think that would be harmful. I mean, positive specifically for you addressing your feelings in that circumstance. I think you should address those feelings, talk about them, express them to loved ones and people that are comfortable. You're comfortable
That
around.
doesn't mean you can't still be stoic.
Well, then what do you mean by stoicism? Because I'm talking about an
Stoicism-
overexpression of keeping down your emotions and not expressing
No,
them
that's
and
not what
positively addressing them.
Stoicism doesn't mean you have to be an sort of unemotional, Spock from Star Trek. That's not what it means at all. Stoicism means that when you're dealt a tough blow in life, you're able to reach inside yourself and deal with it in a strong manner, right? Which is a good thing. I always quote to my kids, I can all tell you the speech off by heart. There's a scene in my favorite films were the Rocky movies. The first four were great. The fifth one was a turkey. The sixth one came back called Rocky Balboa. And in it, Rocky's son's in his 20s. He's a spoiled brat. He hates being Rocky's son. He's whining about everything. He's kind of pretty woke, weak, whiny, moaning about his lot in life, telling him, woe is me all the time. So Rocky eventually has it out with his son in the street. And he says, look, life is tough. It will beat you down and it will keep you down if you let it. If you want to win at life, you've got to learn it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit, get back up and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
No one's arguing against that.
Right, so that's stoic, but that is stoic. That is stoicism.
So, but you're misunderstanding my argument. I'm saying an overexpression of watering down and not addressing your emotions. I think we both agree that would be a bad expression of your emotions. And oftentimes men view it that way because they say if you address your emotions to any degree, there's going to be, don't be a man, don't cry, be a man. So that's an idea of an overexpression of masculinity. And that's when it becomes toxic.
So you say
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And so you say
you agree toxic masculinity.
No. That's not what I'm saying. So you would find it objectionable to use the phrase man up, for example.
In the context in which like someone is having a positive address of their like particular emotions. emotions. And typically I wouldn't use it like that type of phrase. You'd say, maybe you should address your emotions in a more positive way. Maybe you should go to therapy. A lot of people should do that. Like men should go to therapy. It's an important thing that they should do.
Maybe.
Be positive for their life.
I've never been to therapy in my life.
You should.
And I don't cry all the time. I think the last time I cried was about 12 years ago when my grandmother died. I just think this is overdone. We just moved from an incredibly stoic generation, say the World War II generation, who were literally sacrificing their lives for their country, but weren't crying all the time, to an era now.
That's really when masculinity died. All the real men in the world went off to fight the war, and as you can see, most of them didn't come back. We lost a lot of lives in that war. A lot of real men, especially towards, you know, Germany. There were some real men. Jeez. Jokes. This is jokes. Yeah, but a lot of the real men did die during World War II, because it's not many of us left out here, bro. We're struggling out here. We got a bunch of these soy boys out here sipping for their wives, their girlfriends. They can't think straight. Can't even have a coherent thought unless like they're just contemplating and thinking about their wife, like, oh, happy wife, happy life. Oh my gosh, I wonder what my sweetheart is doing right now. I miss her so much. I love my wife. You can love your wife and not be a simp. I genuinely don't think, like, that's just not taught anymore. Like, you can be a man and love your wife and not simp for her at the same time. Because these guys today just cannot do that. We just live in like a very femme-centric society right now. The men are becoming more feminine than the women. It's insane that the women are more masculine than the men. The fact that I even said that in a sentence, think about that for a moment. The women are becoming more masculine than the men. Where are we going at right now? I'll tell you where we're going. We're going straight to fucking the end of the fucking world. That's what we're doing. That's why the asteroid needs to come and wipe us out. Kidding, of course, but you know, even Pierce, I would consider Pierce the most masculine man in the room, but hey, at least he's standing up for, in some cases, in some ways, masculinity. You know, me and him, we may be on the two sides of the different political spectrum, but hey, respect is respect.
Now, wait, why are you associating what I'm saying with crying all the time or being weak?
You're the one who mentioned crying, so let me just explain what I'm talking about. I don't think it suits anybody to encourage a society to constantly be over-emotional either. I'm not saying you should suppress emotions, and if you feel emotions about something, I'm all for it. I can get emotional with the best of them, normally about my football team, but I don't spend all my time blubbing like a baby. And my argument with well, hang on, I'm going to finish my point. I think that if you look at the woke world generally, there seems to be a premium on over-emoting, and not enough of a premium, in my view, of stiff upper lip, pull yourself together, and crack on. Because let me tell you, there are two things you want to worry about in life, really worry about. I say this to my kids: dying and getting a terminal illness. Outside of those two things, everything is surmountable. You can overcome anything.
What about if your partner cheats on you?
What you've got, yeah,
like,
even that.
Okay, so there are plenty of examples we can give where people are going to have like, legitimate circumstances to cry or be sad. I'm asking you, like, in the circumstance, give us specific what you're referencing in terms of these woke liberals of how they're being too overly emotional.
Well, you're talking to me about why you want people to be more emotional. I'm telling you, I don't think that's
I want you to express in positive manners, like go to therapy, like how I told you.
Yeah, but I think we're over-therapied. Everyone I know over here goes to therapy.
You haven't gone to therapy at all. How are you over-therapy?
Why don't you come and talk to me if you want to talk to somebody? I'll soon sort you out.
I can talk to my therapist and we can actually engage in.
I get so cringed when a guy starts saying about going to therapy. Really, I can't be friends with somebody who says he goes to therapy. Like on an emotional level, like guys like that, you really do not want them in your friend circles. I can't trust a guy who's simp for his girl or wife. I can't trust a guy who goes to therapy, because, bruh, guys like that are just a liability. Quite frankly, I'm just gonna be very candid with you right now that guys that are this emotional, they're liabilities to you as a friend. I can't deal with that shit. I don't even want to be around that. Quite frankly, that's just disaster.
positive reconstruction of how I address things. Yes, actually, it's been very helpful for my mental health and my emotional health to be able to talk them through, to be able to talk, like, what can I do to like make myself feel better in these circumstances? Am I being genuinely like real here, like, or am I being a little bit too overly emotional in circumstances? It's totally a question. I ask my therapist all the time. So if you want to talk about being overly emotional, how to address being overly emotional, how about you just start with therapy? What's your solution? What's your solution?
Calm down.
shaking?
I'm calm. I'm totally calm. Wait, are you getting me talking fast? Is not being like calm?
You don't want to get a word in, right? And
I want to finish my statement.
Right, I just think people go to therapy too much. Sorry, I do. You may not like to hear it, because I just think going and talking to some stranger about all your problems all the time, get a grip.
It's not all the time. It's every once in a while you go and talk about your problems specifically so you can address them. You not talk about your.
Never been to therapy a day in my life. Never needed it. Never wanted it. And I haven't taken a single drug like talking about. Yeah, I used to smoke weed when I was in high school, but I stopped that completely fine. And I have no issues at all. Most of these guys up here, I guarantee you, they did a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, a lot of socializing, a lot of trying to fit it in. Then all of a sudden they get older, they're in therapy. They have a lot of mental issues. They have a lot of drug-related addiction issues. Guys like this, apparently he grew up. I don't even think this kid I don't know much about Parker's background, but I guarantee you this kid didn't have that much of a bad life to where he ended up needing therapy or something. In some cases, he's probably just an idiot. And he's definitely a self-hating white guy. That's one thing I would say. Because anybody that's woke, left, progressive, liberal, they hate themselves more than people on the right.
Problems ever with anyone?
I look back. Parker, stop talking. I look at you and I see somebody who's confident. You're a good talker. You're obviously intelligent. You've also got a lot going for you. Stop spending all this money going to see some stranger to go over everything.
It's not that much money to be able to go every once in a while to go see a therapist for me specifically in my life.
I've never been to one in my life.
It's not much money for you. You could easily go with the money that you make and go talk to a therapist.
No need to.
I understand you don't want to. Everyone says that specifically before going into it. I said the same thing. But I'm telling you, you can actually address your emotions in a positive way.
Parker, here's what I'd rather do. I would rather, honestly, have groups of people like you in the woke world, right, who clearly are struggling with regular life, right?
I'm not struggling with
everything's a calamity. Everything's a problem. Has to be overanalyzed, over-therapized. And I just think you've all got to be given the mental tools to deal with ordinary life. Ordinary life.
We already have them.
Ordinary life. Let me tell you to do that. Ordinary life. Yeah, but without going to therapy all the time.
Wait, what's your solution? What's your solution?
People, I think at school and colleges, we need to reinforce, this comes back to masculinity with men, we need to reinforce the mental tools required for life.
Such as?
Well, I can tell you when I can chart the absolute descent of this in the wrong way. And I think it began in America, when you started giving kids participation prizes for coming last to sport. Absolute shambles. I mean, you ever thought of that?
How does this have to do with actually men making their emotions better off? It's participation prize. Oh my gosh.
I'm explaining because if young people are conditioned to think that if you come last at something, you get a prize, it is the worst possible preparation for the real world.
What's the actual solution? You're just telling the problem again. Problem. What's the solution?
If I could finish my sentence.
Start with the solution.
The solution is you just stop talking for a moment, right?
How about you actually provide a solution? All you've done is bring about problems.
I've just given you a solution. I want
That's not a solution. That's a problem.
You stop participation prizes. You condition kids to deal with the real world when they become adults.
Otherwise, when they get not having the ability to express emotions in a positive way, is participation
One of Jordan Peterson's advantages of annoying. Look,
have you been on your own show? You interrupted me the whole time, and now you're just getting the same thing.
Well, because you're just stop talking.
Don't be mad.
Parker,
are you mad?
No, I'm trying to finish my sentence.
It's okay.
Parker, come on, calm down. You're shaking.
I'm totally calm. I'm not shaking at all.
You're shaking.
I'm not shaking. What?
Bro, it could be me in this debate because I would just tell the kid to just go fuck off right now. Because like they're incapable of actually making coherent points or even debating properly, being good sport. Like these guys just think being annoying is you winning a debate. You get mad is losing a debate. Because I remember his debate with Andrew Wilson and Jay Dyer, where he got called a gateist. Jay Dyer and Andrew Wilson were making fun of him. His facial expressions, because they were using words that were just making fun of him and this other kid that was in the debate with him. I forgot this dude's name. This dude apparently was a bisexual before, and he's married to a woman. I don't know if I believe that at all, but hey, I mean, if I see a picture of what she looks like, I probably can attest if she's a real woman or not. I mean, if he's gay before, I mean, who's to know if he ain't married one of those Transformers? Transformers more than meets the sky, or a Decepticon, actually, in this case.
You have to act like I'm say something delusional to try to deflect away from the fact that you haven't addressed anything meaningful here.
Christ, Parker. My point.
I need to give me a soundboard, bro. I'll tell you, a soundboard would do me some good.
There's a brilliant book by Jonathan Haidt about the impact of smartphones on young brains, right? Mm-hmm. And it goes back to 2010, when smartphones became smart. In other words, you could access absolutely everything. And I look at what happens on my feed each day, and I'm horrified about what may happen to younger, more impressionable brains, right? And so young people's brains have got scrambled. So since 2010, there's a direct correlation of young people who get ever more anxious, ever more depressed, in some cases, tragically, ever more suicidal. And it's been driven by this constant negative dopamine. So partly, I understand why what I call the weak, whiny, woke wastrels are like they are, because they're constantly getting overloaded with negative dopamine, which is making them think the whole world's about to end. In fact, as Steven Pinker has explained in great detail, statistically, this has never been a better time to be alive. There are fewer wars than in recorded history. People are living longer and healthier than in recorded history. There's less child poverty than in recorded history. Water is cleaner than in recorded history, etc., etc., etc. The problem is social media amplifying all the bad stuff going on, making young people think the world's about to end. It's not. So I would like young people to be given the proper tools in their education process to enable them to deal with the real world and make them catastrophize less. I do think that in this country, as in my country, young people are over-medicated. I think they go to therapy too much. I think they end up over-analyzing and over-self-obsessing. I think it can make them quite narcissistic. It's all me, and woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. I think we've got to a place oddly in society where losing is deemed to be better than winning, where winning is something to be frowned upon, actually better to be a good loser and get all your mates to like you going, oh my God, I just failed my driving test for the 20th time, but I'm so proud of myself. I'm like, you're a terrible driver, get better, right? So it's all about how you treat these things. And out of it, hopefully, I would produce a nation of people like me, Parker.
I'd love to be able to
Perfect way to end.
I'd love to be able to
And that's for you. Good to see. My next surrounding claim is that woke ideology is anti-liberal and fascistic.
How's it going?
How are you?
Good to meet you. My name's Evan.
Evan?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Evan.
My issue with this claim is I find associating wokeism with fascism to be quite ironic. Wokeism to me is a term that's used.
See, I look like he's Italian. He looks like a woke Italian guy. You know, I could imagine if the mob were gay, they would look like this guy right here. No, thank God the mob was very stoic and very masculine and, you know, dressed nice. This guy's dressed like an idiot. So let's just hear what he's got to say, because I guarantee you, he's going to try to defend woke ideology like an idiot and fail hopelessly.
Used a shorthand pejorative term that's used to describe left-wing cultural politics. And I think the term wokeism and people on the right often use it as a means to deflect and distract from class politics. And there's a very key example of this. So the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, this was something that you actually celebrated quite a bit when it initially came into office. Elon Musk was coming in to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. Obviously, they found 0 instances of fraud. To the extent they found waste, it was just stuff that they ideologically disagreed with. And there were all these programs they were cutting, for example, like LGBTQ programs in Latin America, et cetera. And we were celebrating this all as a big victory. But this was all a distraction because what the agency was actually doing was destroying the National Labor Relations Board, a board that is designed to protect workers' abilities to unionize, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a bureau that is meant to protect consumers from billionaire capitalists like Elon Musk. These institutions, along with the IRS, all of these institutions meant to actually protect and put a check on capitalist billionaires like Elon Musk and the consolidation of fascistic power in our state. All of that was being distracted by this term wokeism. And I think that like when you obsess over things like trans people in sports or DEI policies and XYZ, it is a deliberate means to distract from these very real issues.
Really?
Yes, 100%.
Well, let's take what you just mentioned, trans athletes in sports. Do you think it's a good idea?
Not necessarily. I mean, so it depends on which sport and it depends on which sport. Notice what you're doing right now, right?
You mentioned it. I didn't mention it.
Well, what I mentioned is that these are all a means to distract from the very real issue. Can you at very least acknowledge that you did celebrate DOGE despite it rooting out all these institutions that actually impact Americans?
I'll answer you. I thought that cutting government waste was a good thing.
Sure.
Do I think it was well executed? Not particularly. Sorry, you've got to let me finish.
Go for it.
Do I think it was well executed? Not particularly. You know, Elon left pretty quickly and the government just carried on spending a ton of money. You know, do I think some of the things they cut were wrong? Yes, I agree with you. Do I think all of them? No, I think they did find examples of waste. So, you know, if you had a proper, consistent, ongoing DOGE mentality, which cut genuine things which we all can agree are probably a bit wasteful, I'd be all for it. Do I support everything they cut? No, I don't. But given you mentioned the trans thing, because I hear a lot from the woke left, and I try and say to them, look, if you want to know why Donald Trump got re-elected, your worst nightmare coming true, and you all sit there on election day thinking, how on earth has this happened? Well, one of the reasons was he just stood there. You can shake your head, but one of the reasons is he stood there and went, under me, if I get elected, then I'm going to ban trans athletes from women's sport.
Yeah. Well,
no.
Wait, can I just respond?
No, I'm going to add one thing to it, then you can respond. If you remember, Kamala Harris endorsed it, thought it was a good idea. So the first potential female president of the United States thought it was fair and equitable and safe that biological males compete in women's sport. Trump understood that most people in America, most people around the world, outside of the woke left, do not agree with that. And there's a reason we don't agree with it. Let me finish. The Olympics are coming here, right?
And you're also wrong about Iman Khalif, by the way. Yeah.
Well, I'm not wrong about Iman Khalif. Well, Iman Khalif was banned from the World Championships. She's an Algerian boxer, banned from the World Championships because of testing positive for male chromosomes, right?
That's not true.
Well, it is true.
So
you may not want to believe it, but it is true.
So the International Olympic Committee said that Iman Khalif was both born female. She has a female passport. Algeria, you think Algeria, the state of Algeria, recognizes trans identity? Really, Piers? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. The only institution, the institution that claimed that she failed an unspecified gender or sex identity test was some.
She never took a sex test actually. So there's no really actual fact to know exactly what she really is, if she is a she. So these guys were literally dying to hear about her she is from Algeria, where they ban sex changes out there. So apparently Algeria has a major ban on, sex changes. So it's kind of a key point to bring up, but we don't know for sure. Because then again, in order to win an Olympics, in any means necessary, you might never know. There was some talk about her possibly having some rare genetic disease to where she could be born a female but have male chromosomes inside of her. I'd never heard of it before, but I mean, I guess that probably checks out.
Russian-backed organization that is not internationally recognized by the International Olympic Committee. But wait, no. Let me read that.
You can't say something and me not challenge you.
I know, but that's what exactly what you did earlier.
All Imam Khalif has to do is take a sex test.
Sure, okay.
They're now bringing the sex test in. Then there's no problem. Why do you think Imam Khalif is not?
Sure, I don't want you to distract from the fact that the election, there's no evidence that people voted based on their opinions on trans.
Let me give it to you.
In a Gallup 2024 poll.
No evidence.
Yes, in a Gallup 2024 poll, post-election, out of 22 issues, trans issues ranked 22 out of 22. In every election in all OECD countries across the world, inflation and the economy. Yes, but I just let you go on.
No, let me just respond to you.
Sure.
Actually, if you read the New York Times the week after the election,
I did read the New York Times,
then you will remember a deep dive they did into it. Wait a minute, that's talking. You want to talk all the time.
Sorry.
Show me some respect.
Sorry.
There was a New York Times report into a particular commercial ad, campaign ad that the Trump side put out, and they originally started it in a few sports arenas. They got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the ad was basically a 30-second mashup of Kamala Harris endorsing trans athletes in women's sport and in women's spaces and so on and so on. And it ended with Kamala is for they them, Donald Trump is for you. The New York Times said that they believe that moved the needle. They're reporting by as much as 3 points.
Based on what information?
Ask the New York Times.
No, that's not. You understand news agencies aren't conducting polling analysis. That same article cited the Gallup poll that I just identified where trans issues
but they said one ad moved the needle by 3 points.
And based on what information? If you poll people on what issues that they cared about in the 2024 election, all of it was centered around economy and inflation. And this is just obvious because it's a global phenomenon. Every incumbent party across the world lost the election.
A lot of Democrats and people on the woke left in particular have tried to assure me that absolutely nobody cares about trans athletes in women's sport.
People care. The right cares, but your median voter cares more about what's in their pocketbook.
My question for you is,
and you're doing exactly what I claimed you were doing by using wokeism to distract from
my question for you is this. I interviewed a woman called Betty Yee a couple of weeks ago on my show. She's a candidate to be governor of California, and she endorsed in my interview gender-neutral Olympics when it comes to Los Angeles. Now, that to me is where the woke mind virus takes you, to complete and utter insanity. Because if there was a gender-neutral Olympics, and this woman might be governor of this state.
Does she have any control over the Olympics or the policies of the Olympics?
Wait a minute.
Is she impacting
I'm talking about the mindset that says that actually gender-neutral Olympics. Do you agree with me? Can we reach a point of agreement that would be absurd?
I don't. It depends on the sport. It depends on the sport.
She specified track and field.
But guess what? I don't care what some.
You don't care about women losing?
No. This is a governor's position. This is a state representative who is a mayor.
What's your opinion?
Honestly, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, because this person has no institutional power, and this is exactly what I mean. When you champion Elon Musk and you're like, oh my God, he's correctly identifying the woke mind virus and doing X, Y, and Z, you're distracting from the very real issue that we have an unelected billionaire.
You're not distracting.
No, this is
answer my question.
We exist in the conversation of a larger.
Evan, answer my question.
It depends on the sport.
Give me a sport where it'd be fine.
Archery.
Nigga couldn't think of something. That's crazy.
How are you?
Good to meet you, Garrett.
Good to meet you. What's your name?
I pronounce Mason.
Mason.
I did not mean this as an insult.
No, please.
You seem way more comforting in person. Like you look taller on your show. Like, and you have this very
I'm 6'1". What are you talking about?
When I saw you walk in, I don't know. Maybe you just look like a giant on your show.
Oh, thank you. I don't know how to take that, but I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah. So I really want to make sure that we get our definitions correct first.
Yes.
When you say that wokeism equals fascism, would you say that's like a claim diluted into like a small?
Let me explain what I mean by that. Okay, and I've talked about this a lot in my book, Woke is Dead. And again, just to remind you, I come at this as a pissed off liberal who has nothing in common with the woke left and wants the woke left to actually come back to a more commonsensical, electable position, actually. And here's what I think about what wokeism became. It began in the 60s in Black American music. In its origin, a great thing. It was about raising awareness for social and racial injustice. By that criteria, I'm happy to say I'm woke. But that's not what's happened in the last few years. In the last few years, for a combination of reasons, one of which the pandemic sent everybody nuts. Everyone was at home drinking too much on the internet, firing off all their ridiculous views and just got into rabbit holes and so on. But we can leave that. But wokeism, it's supposed to be a celebration. I would think, agree.
Yeah.
Hang on. It's supposed to be
you're the person in the center. Can I talk a little bit on like 3 minutes I get before I'm voted out?
I haven't made my point.
Okay.
Do you agree that it's supposed to be about liberalism, about being a liberal?
I would say that the idea of wokeism is kind of an evolution from a bunch of different terms that have been used to throw the left specifically. Like before wokeism, it was critical race theory. Before critical race theory, it was social justice. Right. There's a lot that the right specifically, and I know you say that you're not the right, but it's a reactionary response towards the elevation of certain groups that has historically been silenced.
Does it celebrate liberalism?
I don't think so. I don't think it has to. I think a lot of it also has to talk about class solidarity, which typically is.
Let me give you a little Latin list. Because the Latin was liber, meaning free, and also the root of liberty, meaning the quality or state of being free, and liberalis, meaning courteous, generous, gentlemanly.
I love these definitions.
Wait a minute.
Can you describe?
You asked for a definition.
Can you describe
I'm giving you
fascism?
one.
That's really what I want to talk about.
I know what fascism is.
Wait, what is it then? Because enlighten me.
Can I finish telling you what liberalism is?
No, I know what liberalism is.
Well, you don't think you do.
Yeah,
if you're a woke left, they don't understand what being a liberal actually means. I do.
What being a liberal?
I do. So let me explain to you. The definition of a liberal include one who is open-minded or not strict in the observance of orthodox, traditional, or established forms or ways, a person who is willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own, favorable to or respectful of individual rights and freedoms, and concerned with broadening general knowledge and experience. Now, what part of that do you think the woke left have adhered to in the last 5 years?
But I need to know why is it fascism?
Being on the right's better than being liberal. Being any form of liberal, it's just a waste of time. Being on the right is That's the reason why they call it the right, is because it's the right side of history. Being a liberal just means you're a retard. I'll be very blunt. It just means you're an idiot. Sometimes the liberals can make a lot of sense, especially when they have their head on straight. And when we're talking about the Israeli government, that's when we can agree. But all the other stuff, yeah, you lost me right there. We're not in agreement at all at that point. So, yeah, I would say being right wing, being conservative, being on this side of the aisle, it's far better than being on that side.
About to tell you. Okay, so the woke left have basically said, we hate fascists, we hate Nazis. In fact, we think everyone we don't agree with is a fascist and a Nazi. That's led by Donald Trump, led by everyone who voted for Trump, led by Charlie Kirk, led by all these people.
Can I tell you what?
Let me finish my point, then you can respond. That they're all a bunch of fascists, they're all a bunch of Nazis. And I kept warning the woke left, as a pissed off liberal, stop over-demonizing people by using the word Nazi and Hitler and fascist. It is ridiculously self-harming to yourselves, and it leads actually to young deranged minds like the assassin of Charlie Kirk to actually put anti-fascism slogans on their bullets and to murder people for their speech, right? So wokeism, in the end, in the last few years, transformed from what was supposed to be a celebration of liberalism in many ways into a form of fascism. Why do I say that? Because it conditioned people that you either adhere to our narrow worldview, and if you don't, we're going to shame you, vilify you.
Look, all the flags are up. I didn't even get to talk.
I'm going to let you respond. I'm going to lose my time. Cancel you, or in some circumstances, we're going to kill you for your free speech and opinions. Okay. And that is where it became, in my opinion, a very dangerous,
but it just sounds like
very deluded
it sounds like you're trying
form
to,
of fascism.
It sounds like you're
which is ironic because wokies say they hate the fascists.
It sounds like you're trying to correlate fascism with authoritarianism, which is control of speech or control of how people interact or control of behavior.
Fascists do control speech.
Right, that can be a part of it, is the authoritarianism. But the specific part of fascism is specifically trying to preserve a hierarchy based on either shared ethnicity or shared culture. That is the idea of elevating one specific group into the top. No,
yes, you are.
So you're telling me that Hitler would have been wearing a BLM shirt, or Hitler would have been wearing an anti, because wokeism is not fascism. Fascism is specifically dealing with one particular group. But they're elevating the top of the hierarchy. That's what we saw in fascist Italy. That's what we saw in Nazi Germany. That's what we saw in Imperial Japan.
But Mason,
none of that correlates with the elevation of particular groups that have historically been silenced, which is the idea of what progressivism is.
I hear you.
I reject the idea of wokeness just because wokeness, again, is used as that insult that is elevated from different insults that have been thrown in the past.
Respectfully, I think wokeism has become one of the worst scourges in the world.
Yeah, because I think that there's been a successful campaign to basically
led by the woke left.
No, it has been to attach all of these pejoratives to a idea of emancipation from silenced groups. That's the idea. The idea that
silent about
yes, the idea that we should bring people to the table.
No, you never stop.
That's why I hear so much about cancel culture, about how everybody's getting canceled. When there are millionaires with podcasts that talk about this shit every day.
The best quote I have in my book, Woke is Dead, and clearly it's still slightly alive here, but the best quote, I had an Australian woman come up to me in the streets in London, and she said, "Mr. Morgan, do you mind if I just say something about these wokies?" I went, "Sure." She said, "They just want to suck all the joy out of life." And I went, "God, you're so right. That's exactly what they do."
What you are collectively out? You are stopping saying slurs. You are sucking out the joy of life. You want to say slurs that bad?
I don't want to say slurs. Well, that's like you are collectively the most joyless group of people to ever.
I'm pretty joyful. I'm smiling. I can even cracking jokes.
My advice is,
I can get a beer with you.
My advice for all of you is,
I think you need to relax a little bit.
Collectively, a bit. I know you love a bit of Zen. Zen, calm down, take a chill pill, right? See the funny side of life. Respect other people's opinions. Respect my right to have different opinions.
I think that you've dressed this like nightmare scenario around you, and then you start cowering. No, then you start cowering at the own demons that you set up. It's funny that like are the wokies
cowering in this room?
You're saying they're the joyless people.
In the middle of 20 hardcore.
They are joyless. They're ruining the joy of life. They're sucking out the happiness. They're sucking out the happiness of society. That's the idea. You're saying the happiness is being sucked out by woke people.
I think you're just a joyless bunch. You should lighten up a bit.
It's an insane overgeneralization. That's how I feel about British people. But
that's crazy.
Hello.
I'm Ann.
Oh, shit.
You're Pierce.
I am Pierce.
I do want to kind of touch on the...
Here come these fucking spirituality fucking chicks, bro. Man, you could just tell she's a spiritual. Look at the jewelry, the necklace, the bracelet, the tattoos, the short hair. She looks like she reads from a witchcraft book. And she talks to I can't think of a demonic name right now.
last thing that you and Mason talked about. I think the idea that the woke left is just this soulless, joyless majority of the left, at least now is what you seem to be making it out to be.
I don't think it's the majority, it's the noisy part of the left.
Okay, I actually think I can agree with you there. I think it's a loud minority of what you're calling the woke left. I think what really wokeness comes back to is that idea of fighting for equality, speaking up for people who don't have a voice themselves, and advocating on their behalf for their rights. And I think that you don't...
Do you identify as a woman?
No, but I think that's tangential.
What do you identify as?
That's tangential to this conversation.
No, it's actually very relevant to what I'm about to say. So.
No, I don't think my identity is...
What do you identify?
What if I started bringing up the fact that you're British and you're here talking to a bunch of Americans in America?
Great.
That would be completely irrelevant to this whole point.
Very relevant.
We're talking about American
politics. In fact, the last guy that finished this used British as a slur against me.
I mean,
might be
justified.
I haven't run to my therapist. I've risen above the slur. I'm not going to report him to. I'm not going to report him to the authorities for using a racial slur. I've moved on.
That's great, but I just
my point in asking you what you identify is that you're talking about equality. The wokeism is aligned to equality, and yet where does that equality apply? If, for example, and we've touched on this already, if you are a woman athlete in sport, where's the equality in having a biological man compete against you when they have a physical advantage?
Okay, look, I think that kind of strays away from.
Do you think that's equal?
Do I think it's equal for men and women to play in sports if there's an advantage that's like far above a threshold?
Yes.
No, I don't think that.
And you understand that's why we separate the sexes in sport, because men have a physical advantage.
To an extent, we do.
To an extent,
so
they just do.
Okay, then answer the question about archery. What do you think about archery? Do you think that has to be a segregated sport?
I've read a report, and correct me, someone I'm sure will correct me on the internet. I read a report that if it was a gender-neutral Olympics, women may end up with 2 bronze medals in the entire Olympics.
Wait, okay.
Right?
But I think the point. Hold on, wait.
Two medals
I think the
in
point,
the entire Olympic Games. In other words, it would be the.
Look, I'm not advocating for
I'm just saying it would be
gender-neutral
the destruction of women's sport. That's why we separate the sexes, and that's why the issue matters. Sorry, lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Excellent, nice suit.
Great to meet you, sir.
Nick, great to meet you.
So look, the prompt was about the equivalency between wokeism and fascism. The key difference.
Well, to be clear, the prompt actually, my real point is, if you want to,
he got the same name like Nick Fuentes, but he doesn't give off the aura like Nick Fuentes. And he's got a suit on, I'll give him that, but the green socks is just, and the shoes, not a good touch, bro. Not a good touch, bro. Not at all.
You brand everybody fascist. You can't behave like fascists yourself.
But the key difference is fascism uses the power of the state to impose their
So does the woke left.
Wokeism does not.
Oh, it does.
Was anybody deported for being woke during the Biden administration?
Here's my answer.
Does anybody get rounded up in the streets for their opinion? Did anybody get canceled because the FCC said you're being too woke? No.
Can I answer?
That doesn't happen.
Can I answer?
Of course.
Of course. Actually, the woke left have deployed the power of the state many times. Look at the pandemic.
How is that wokeism?
I'll tell you how it's
Wait,
wokeism.
so diseases are woke now?
Wokeism is where you take things which are not actually science-based. For example, the efficacy of masks. Right? And by the way, I feel guilty of this myself. I'm not saying I'm whiter than white about
So
this.
masks are woke?
No, they can be. The woke mentality. I'll explain why. When a government says that if you're seen without a mask during a pandemic, you can be fined or punished.
Pierce, you're way too smart to believe this.
Wait a minute. I'm giving you the argument.
This nigga's trying to. What is he like, bro? Can you wait till you finish the argument first, bro? Like, bro thinks he's a scholar on wokeism without even waiting to hear what the argument is.
Which I ended up accepting, right? Which is in a fast-moving pandemic, when the scientific advice changes so rapidly. I fell victim to this myself. I was very censorious to people. But you can't deny that the state had a mindset of you will conform or we will punish you. And it turned out they were making people...
That's simply not true.
It is true.
You may have felt uncomfortable being unmasked in public because people would say, hey, exert courtesy to other people.
I didn't.
Nobody got fired.
I didn't.
Nobody lost their job. Nobody got
People did get fired and did lose their
No,
job.
all that stuff got overturned.
No,
because we are a nation of laws.
People did get fired. They all lost their jobs for not wearing a mask. They were told they couldn't come to work.
Who?
Thousands of people.
Okay, so these nebulous people lost their job.
To be clear, you don't think anybody lost their job in the pandemic for refusing to wear a mask or refusing to be vaccinated?
I think that people who were in public-facing situations where they could have easily taken a scientifically proven preemptive measure.
It wasn't proven.
Yes, it was.
No, it turned out not to be proven. That's my point. And yet the state, driven by a left-wing Democrat president...
This guy's definitely vaxxed. I'm telling you right now. Look at him. He looks like a soy boy that would go get his fucking shot because the government told him to.
That you are spreading misinformation. That is not fascism. That is just me telling you you're wrong.
But you're not telling me I'm wrong because I'm right.
Okay, no, you're just not. And we're not going to relitigate COVID. That's now years ago at this point. The key point is it fascism? It is not fascism. You gave your very long definition of liberalism. Wokeism is about everything on that list that you described as being liberal. Really? It's about standing up for other perspectives. It's about listening to other people that have not traditionally been listened to.
Oh, you don't listen to anybody.
Yes, you do.
Of course you don't.
You said yourself, wokeism started about just acknowledging social problems. I think it's woke that middle America's jobs have been shipped overseas. That's woke to recognize that there's larger social problems.
I don't dispute.
Police brutality, recognizing that there's a problem with the institution of policing. That's woke. It's not fascist.
Would you defund the police?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well, that's woke.
Not defunding the police is woke?
Calling for the police to be defunded is one of the worst things the woke, including Mamdani.
Okay,
the new mayor of New York City called for the...
Your first prompt was toxic masculinity has always meant one thing. Now you're saying woke used to mean one thing, but now it means a different thing. So words only have one definition when they suit you. No. But when they don't suit you, they change. And obviously,
you said that wokeism is a form of liberalism, right? You said that.
Yeah,
everything I read.
Wokeism is a form of liberalism.
And it just reminds you, a person who is willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own. The woke left famously, I would say infamously, never accept anybody objecting to anything they say.
We confront bad speech with better speech.
You confront bad speech with better speech. No, you don't.
Like denying the efficacy of maxim vaccines, and I'm telling you that's wrong.
No,
I'm not saying you should be cancelled or you should be imprisoned for that.
Actually, if you want my honest view, I do not think the efficacy of masks was ever proven. In fact, I think most of the evidence now suggests they were pretty pointless. Secondly, on vaccines, I think they saved millions of lives, but I do think it was completely misleading of the government here and the government in the UK and other countries when they stated as a scientific fact that if you had the vaccine, you couldn't transmit the virus.
The measure was whether the healthcare system would be overwhelmed.
Wait a minute.
The healthcare system did not collapse, it worked. That was always supposed to be. It wasn't that no one would ever get sick.
I'm making the point that when you issue government mandates and it turns out you were wrong, for example, when they said you cannot transmit the virus if you have the vaccine, it turned out that wasn't true. Do you accept that?
I do accept that.
So there were lots of things they said which turned out to be wrong. So
I would rather err on the side of caution with a disease that killed millions of people around the world. That's just me.
Hey, Nick, as I did. And in fact, I was very censorious to people who took the position I'm now taking.
Again, it's nothing censorious. We're having this debate in a public forum. I'm not saying you're not allowed to speak about this. I'm just going to tell you you're wrong.
I'm making the point that I was wrong at the time about those particular parts of it. We can agree that the vaccines broadly, I think, worked. But we can also agree the scientists got it wrong about masks. They got it wrong about the efficacy of transmission with vaccines. These are things we should be able to come together on.
Hey, this is
really good to see it.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News is on a mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and mistrust. Straight Arrow News helps you quickly find trusted information you need to understand the news, allowing you to dive deep into the topics that matter to you and the world around you. Their work is
Boy, he's wearing pearls. I just realized that he's wearing pearls. Yeah, I know he's a soy boy, but damn.
Trying to break the bias. So happy to be part. Clarity you deserve. You're not just Straight Arrow News for partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
My next surrounding claim is that gender-neutral pronouns are pointless.
Yep.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm Jeremiah. Okay, so I bet you.
Look, I'm gonna have to skip ahead because I really don't care about this shit about gender pronouns. Let's go to cancel culture. I really could give a shit less about gender.
Final surrounding claim is that cancel culture is real and a serious threat to free speech. How are you? Hey, Jason Tyler. It's good to meet you, Tyler.
Okay, so I read your book.
Yes, what did you think?
So, I liked it. I like that you gave, the movie American Fiction the praise it deserves. But, so on page 81, you talk about how you're a liberal who respects free speech. And on that page, you say the Republican Party, and I quote, is ferociously free speech. Yet Donald Trump 2 months ago signed an executive order banning the burning of the American flag. So how does that work?
I don't agree with him.
Yeah, but then how are they ferociously free speech?
I don't agree with him.
Yeah, but no, on your book on page 81, you said they're ferociously
I would say in the last few years, the Republicans have been more pro-free speech than the woke left. That doesn't mean occasionally, as we saw with the Jimmy Kimmel thing, it doesn't mean that occasionally they don't do stuff which I think is hypocritical because actually it's not supporting free speech. So I agree with it.
So what executive order did the Democrats pull where they were banning anything to the regard of burning the American flag?
I don't think
it happened.
I'm talking about, well, I don't agree with it. So
but your book says they're ferociously free speech. It's a contradiction.
They are. They have
Should we just tear page 81 out of your book then?
No. You can be ferociously free speech and still occasionally do things which are hypocritical.
So, okay, like yourself. But
where have I been hypocritical?
So on page 245, I like the book. What can I say?
Are you like one of those weird little mentalists who just remembers every single word of the page?
I'm just a massive Celebrity Apprentice fan, so I need.
Really?
Oh, you killed Trace Adkins in the end. I really appreciate it.
I actually bumped into him in Beverly Hills recently.
But so on page 245, you talk about how you are against. If you were king for a day, you would ban anybody who participates in cancel culture online.
Yes.
And you would call them out. However, Michael Knowles, a guest you have on all the time, has recently said that he wants to ostracize certain people from society that when they say negative things. He was on this show and said if you wave the pride flag, you should be in jail for that. That is against the First Amendment and that is absolutely cancel culture.
I don't agree.
Yet you never call him out on that. No, you've never done it. You have him on the show all the time.
Next time he's on, I will.
You promise me?
You have a bet.
So like right now, though, it just seems to me.
Anyone who watches my show will know I call out everybody.
No, you don't. You never call Michael Knowles. He's done it multiple times.
You've just pointed that out to me.
So
I will call him out.
It just sounds like you're not.
Michael, if you're watching, I'm going to ask you about that. You better have your defense.
Okay, so then other than what has the left done?
I'm not arguing left or right.
What has the left done in the past 10 years that it's been worse than trying to ban the burning of the American flag?
Well, what's the woke left done? Pretty they're trying to ban everybody.
Really, they tried to make it illegal? Name one example. That's just
not the flag.
So yeah, but what legislation they put forward? Nothing.
No, but let me question back to you.
What's more being cancelled than being put in prison?
Well, okay, let me give an example.
Yeah.
I'll give an example.
Yeah.
Graham Linehan.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not bringing it back because I want to talk about his issue. He's a comedian who did Father Ted. Obviously, his issue is singular. It's the trans issue. We've debated that.
Yes.
However, the principle of a comedian posting jokes which people may find offensive on social media, as he did back in April, about the trans issue, then being met by 5 armed police officers at Heathrow Airport in London and arrested and taken off. And a very interesting thing happened, which is why I say woke is dead as an ideology. Because 2-3 years ago, that would have been supported by everybody in the woke left. Yeah, bang him up, absolutely disgusting. How dare he? He's transphobic, he's horrible. We know this because of the way that, hang on, we know this from the way that J.K. Rowling was treated, right? They're doing the same stuff about the trans issue. She was given death threats, she was threatened with this, that, and the other. But a different thing happened this time. This time, there was such a public outcry, including from many on the left, actually, to be fair to them, that this had crossed the line. We've got to stop doing this for stupid posts on social media. Hundreds of people on social media in the last 2 years in Britain have been arrested. It's completely ridiculous.
Can I respond?
Well, let me finish. So actually, the police not only said we're not going to prosecute him, but we're not going to prosecute anybody for this kind of offence going forward. That's a big win. So a repudiation of cancel.
All you've told me is the left has progressed in their position on free speech, but the right has regressed. That's all you've said.
I'm not here to defend the right's position. I think
but I'm saying if you're going to write a book, it's trying to defend free speech. You should focus on where it's actually being attacked. But you wasted your time talking about this left boogeyman that does not exist. I agree with you.
Look, I'll say this. I'm for free speech 100%. Again, now, when all those woke tarts that were getting fired from their jobs were making fun of Charlie Kirk, like literally a day after he got shot, I'm not even kidding. It was literally a day that passed before there was viral TikToks everywhere of them celebrating him getting shot. So then there had been a spree of them all getting fired because Libs of TikTok, a big political cultural commentary X channel, or X page, my bad, that's on X, formerly known as Twitter, was going around doxing all these people's names, addresses, well, not their address, but not doxing their names and where they work at. And they were all getting fired at a rapid pace. So they have a right to say whatever they want. So, but them losing their jobs because they're celebrating a man getting shot, that's, at some point, I wouldn't say we have to put a limit on speech, but you can, I would say this. You should not have a place of employment, a place of income, if you're going to sit there and celebrate a death of someone you just disagree with in like a debate. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't give you a right to celebrate their death. So, hey, I have no problem with them losing their jobs. They can still have their speech. That's not a problem. Them losing their jobs or whatever, and them crying about it afterwards because they lost their jobs, it's their own fault for that. They're celebrating a man's death because they hate the guy's guts and they just didn't agree with him. It's disgusting in every way possible. So that's my stance on that. I'm free speech absolutist, maximist, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm for free speech, but at the same time, when you're sitting up there praising death, yeah, that at some point you can have your speech. But if your employment decides to cut ties with you because you're celebrating someone's death, then that's another thing. So
I love free speech. I am against all that stuff. I'm wearing the poppy today because of Remembrance Day, and we fought for free speech. And the right now is attacking it. And you have a huge platform, and you can take this time to actually defend free speech, but you're not.
I always defend free speech.
Okay, so then why don't you put more folks on the right then? So let me give you an example. You actually agree with you actually agree with my argument. On page 241 of your book, as I'll quote it again, you attacked Bob Chapek because he denounced Ron.
Let me get this straight. I already made a video talking about the Jimmy Kimmel cancellation. It's not because he got canceled because of his speech. He got canceled because he was just losing views. He wasn't making ABC any views anymore. Like, who watches Jimmy Kimmel? Late night talk shows are out. They're out. They're not popular anymore. No one watches that crap. People are turning into podcasts right now. Podcasts are the new future. They are the now. Mainstream TV, it's done with. Local news stations, done with. People get their news from podcasts. People listen to podcasts and they get all their news from there. So regardless of Jimmy Kimmel getting, banned because people think it was because of what he said about Charlie Kirk, that was an excuse just to get him off the air because he just wasn't making ABC no money. That and plus Nexstar and the Sinclair broadcast were having a merger, so of course they wanted to ensure that went through at the same time, and they didn't want any complications. That's also why they complied. But that's the real reason why Jimmy Kimmel got taken off the air.
DeSantis for putting in like anti-gay laws, to put it quotly. But you said he should be attacking people like Xi Jinping because he does way more human rights violations. Yeah. But that applies here. Trump and the right do way more than left. You said that in your own book, but right now you're contradicting yourself again.
I think both sides are capable of rank hypocrisy.
Who's worse?
I actually think, on balance, over the last 5 years, the woke left have been more suppressive of free speech.
Really?
Yes. Let me give you an example.
Okay. But you take like 15 minutes to give an example. We have 14 minutes.
We haven't stopped talking.
That's true.
All right.
I had a great time.
That was good.
Yeah.
I like the book. Thank you. Yeah.
How's it going?
Hello.
Good to meet you. My name's Dash. Piers, standing off against the liberals. This is really something.
Well, I am a liberal.
Your thoughts and beliefs in private, I would assume, more aligned with ours, but I understand getting, I understand getting that bag. So
well, I don't know.
I'll save you the trouble. I'll do it for you.
Okay.
Here's Morgan's new book, Woke is Dead, is out now. It's great.
Thank you.
I also read it. Covered
right. Thank you very
I want to take that off your shoulders.
Thank you.
But let's get into it. So I'm just curious, someone who doesn't have any kind of a relationship with accountability, would you agree that everything comes across to them as cancel culture?
No, I don't believe that speech comes without accountability.
Okay.
But I do believe we had a frenzied atmosphere in the last few years, driven predominantly by the woke left, of cancelling anybody that didn't sign up to their worldview, which I thought was very insidious. I called it out while it was happening. I've called it out since. I've now written a book about it all, so we cannot go back there. It doesn't mean that the right aren't capable of doing similar stuff and being hypocrites. They are. But it also means that if you look at it in totality, I think this cancel culture mentality has been really damaging. And I think the war on free speech has been really damaging.
Okay, well, let's put this on a spectrum, because I think we use this term cancel culture and everybody's been canceled by the left. I don't have any actual evidence of what you're talking about. So let's say accountability is on this side, which is you facing consequences for your actions. And on this side of the spectrum, it is facing consequences for something that is not justified. So now let's start to place it in that spectrum.
Let me give you a specific example.
Because the people you carry water for on the right tend to be over here, where they don't take accountability for anything and instead feel like they're being canceled, although it's just consequences for your basic actions.
Do you ever watch my show?
I do.
And you really think I carry water for the right?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes. There's a statistic that you defend Republicans more than anybody else.
No, I don't. I just attack the woke left more than anybody else.
Okay.
But it's friendly fire. I come at you as one of your own, only I didn't go mad.
Appreciate you admitting
I didn't go mad, right? I didn't go mad woke bonkers. I stayed old-fashioned liberal, with liberal values, wanting free speech at the cornerstone of it. Let me give you an example.
Piers, I read your book. That's not the case. You spent most of the book with Trump's cock in your mouth.
If you read the... Sorry?
You spent most of the book with Trump sucking him off.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. The prologue was the Dawn Rises, D-O-N.
The prologue, actually, if you read it, and I don't think you did, because you just revealed you probably haven't. The prologue actually starts with two conversations I have with him. One positive and one extremely negative, which ends up with him saying, Piers Morgan's so dead, he's catching flies.
Right.
I'm not sure you've read the book, have you?
I have read the book.
Then you wouldn't say that I bleep.
No, because that was you meeting him Mar-a-Lago trying to win favor back because he was becoming the presumptive nominee, so you needed to get back onto his side.
Yes, but look.
After spending years being a critic of his, then you needed to win favor back.
I've never spent years as a critic of Trump. I've spent years, I've known Donald Trump nearly 20 years. He's been a politician for the last 10 years of that period. In that time, for example, I used to write columns for the Daily Mail in America. I calculated after his first term in office, I wrote about 120 columns about Trump. You can go and check it. And about half were negative and half were positive. I do think in Trump's first term, if people had been fair to give him credit where he deserved it and criticized him when he deserved it, everyone would have been a lot better off. I feel it now. The Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing, and it's honestly,
I wear that badge proudly.
I know, but it's kind of pathetic. It's like when I hear people say, he's the new Hitler. Really? Hitler murdered 12 million people, including 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. You think Donald Trump is the new Hitler? You're a fucking idiot.
Okay, so we're going to talk about hyperbole. Here we have focused half of the discussion today on trans issues, but we're not going to talk about things like, I don't know, Trump is in the Epstein files and he's using the government to cover it up. Should we talk about that?
Sure.
That affects a lot of people. How about him denying the 2020 election and eroding the public's trust in our institutions and processes? That affects everybody. Okay. So let's try not deflecting to the trans athletes conversation.
You just brought up two more issues. I'm happy to talk about
We'll see if you deflect. Go on.
Well, you want to ask me about them? Go on.
Okay, well, I'm saying let's focus on the issues that affect lots of people, not deflect into culture war issues that affect very...
So he brought up the Epstein files, and then he brought up the 2020 election, and he then proceeded just to yap on and not even ask a question about it. Like, you brought up those two issues that you obviously want to talk about, and Pierce is ready to go, and then you just proceed to yap about other shit. Bruh. Oh, brother. God help us all.
Very few people in the grand scheme.
Well, let's be clear. The number of people directly affected by the Epstein scandal is probably 2,000.
What the president of the United States covering up a pedophilia scandal affects everybody.
If that's what he's doing. Well,
common sense. You're a champion of common sense.
Well, I can tell you that I've spoken to Virginia Giuffre's lawyer multiple times, David Boyce. He's seen the files. He does not believe there's anything against Trump in those files.
Well, okay. What happened to common sense, Piers?
Well, actually, I prefer to stick to facts. Hello.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
My name's Z.
Z?
Yeah.
Z?
Yes.
He doesn't know what that means.
Yep.
I
corrected him.
And you're sitting with each other.
God, is that a dude? Yo. She's definitely a 2. You know, that's suspicious looking face. Looks like she might have an Adam's apple. We will see.
Okay, so
your pronouns, your name?
It's my name. Okay. My pronouns are she, her.
Oh, right.
So I think I tend to agree with you mostly on the cancel culture stuff.
Right.
In fact,
more like he, him.
Like, I was canceled back in April from this guy behind me.
Really?
Yeah, and so over some woke stuff. Okay,
Are you serious?
And I'm serious.
What did he do to you?
Well, it was
I didn't
about
think about him.
it was about microaggression. So, but my point is that I think that the far
What?
left tend to do this to shrink the Democratic tent so that they don't have to take responsibility in winning elections.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do think that that's a very small portion of the far left.
Except
So
they're now winning power. This is what Mamdani
They
did.
are, right, which is a good thing.
Actually, it's a terrible thing.
Well, first of all, I don't think Mamdani is considered the far left. Parker and Mamdani are not in the same category to me,
Right.
because he believes in electoral power, right? But my point is that you still are stumping for Republicans.
It's funny. They're going at each other, and they're supposed to be agreeing with each other. This is why I like the left doesn't make any. Well, again, we have that problem on the right too as well. You know, we have the Israel firsters, and then we have, you know, the real right wing, not these, you know, hand me some money, AIPAC, hand me some money, the Jews, the ZOA, hand me some money, Miriam Adelson, hand me some money, Sheldon is dead, but any of the other big Jewish billionaires, Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, you know, even Elon Musk, who's not Jewish, but spiritually, you could say he's Jewish. But you see, the left and the right, we all have our issues right now. You know, on the far right, we don't agree with the moderates because they're all pro-Israel. And meanwhile, the far left does not agree with the regular liberals because, well, it's basically two sides of the same coin, but who's more retarded than the other?
As if Republicans.
I don't stump for anybody.
Well, Pierce, I watch your show a lot.
Then you know I don't stump for anybody.
Okay, but you just made the defense in this argument with, I think, the guy before this last guy, where you said that you think Republicans are better on free speech than the
have been in the last few years, yes.
Right. Well, and I totally disagree with you. Can we use Charlie Kirk as an example?
Yes.
Do you think that Charlie Kirk stood for free speech?
Absolutely.
You do?
Oh my God.
Really? How? Tell me about that.
Charlie Kirk was the absolute personification of defending free speech.
Oh, really?
Let me explain why.
Okay.
Charlie Kirk had strong views about a lot of things, many of which you probably don't agree with, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But Charlie Kirk, week after week, around America, would go onto university campuses knowing that most people there didn't agree with him, may have a preconceived view about him, maybe thought he was a fascist and all the other things they called him, and he would sit there in his tent, sometimes outside as he was when he was appallingly assassinated, and he would say, prove me wrong. And people would line up and they come and have a debate like this, and he would listen to them respectfully, he'd challenge them, he'd argue with them.
That's not what happened.
Sorry, that's exactly what Charlie Kirk did.
Okay, as somebody that...
And for that, he got a bullet in the neck.
Okay, as somebody that runs the counter organization to Charlie Kirk's Turning Point, that is not the point of what Charlie Kirk was doing. Charlie Kirk did not decide to debate high-profile debaters, people like Destiny or people on the left that would actually give him a real debate. In fact, he even denied debating Dean Withers. I was literally with him when he did that, okay? So it's not like he was going in to have a real debate. He would go to these college... No, he would go to these college campuses.
He already debated Dean Withers over there at Jubilee. What are you talking about? Destiny? Give him a real challenge, right? Yeah, like he gave Mohammed Hijab a real challenge. We should probably react to that debate, actually. I would actually probably react to that debate that he had with Destiny at Oxford University. I'm thinking about doing that, actually, to show you the master the debater on the left. One of his worst debates, actually, that he had, and then also his debate with Nick, too, as well.
To debate kids that were very much underprepared so that he could clip them and then raise money for Turning Point to go out there and then register voters, okay? And I think that that's brilliant, okay? That's why I'm trying to replicate it. But you cannot say that he was there for free speech, because that's not really free speech, especially when Charlie Kirk went and tried to denied us from going into his events just because we were Democrats. He canceled our permits, even though we had permits that we paid for. That's not free speech.
But you wouldn't argue that he would regularly, and I mean almost on a daily basis, debate with people who he didn't agree with.
College students, unprepared college students, you think that's real debate?
Let me throw back at you something. I'm interested about your response to this.
Yeah.
He went to the Oxford Union in April, May this year.
Yeah, he did.
And he debated a guy during the appearance there who then became the president-elect of the Oxford Union, who, when Charlie Kirk was murdered, reacted by posting LOL, laughing out loud, and then he said, Charlie Kirk just got shot, let's effing go, exclamation mark, exclamation mark.
Yeah,
he celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk, who was killed, let's be clear, because he had views that the person who killed him didn't agree with.
Yeah.
That person continued to want to be president-elect of a debating society. Do you agree that it's not a question of free speech or cancel culture, that he was incompatible with the position of being president of a debating society if you celebrate someone's murder for their speech?
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. We can agree on that.
I watched the way a lot of the woke left celebrated, posting, and these were teachers, nurses, doctors, professors, posting videos of themselves, glorifying, celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. It was one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen.
Do you think that they should be fired for that?
Yeah, absolutely, they should be fired for that.
No,
How are you? I'm Rob. Nice to meet you, Rob.
So I think we are conflating accountability with cancel culture. I am the mayor of my hometown, and if I came on here, Los Gatos, California, if I came on here and said a bunch of bigoted things, my voters would righteously vote me out. I would be out of a job.
Wait a minute. The mayor made time to come to a Jubilee debate. Dude was supposed to be running his hometown. He's at a Jubilee debate. Well, I understand some of these politicians would make time to come out their day to go do extracurricular activities, but like, damn, he actually showed up to a debate. That's actually pretty funny.
Yes, that's not cancel culture.
Could you imagine like one of the cabinet members in the GOP just, you know, on their day off, they decided to do a debate with Jubilee, a 1 versus 20. Imagine Cash Patel against the far right. Real people that actually have real criticisms against Cash Patel for what he's doing right now, because Cash Patel right now is kind of embarrassing the FBI right now, very much so.
That's just common sense and accountability. Sure. Can you tell me someone who has been permanently canceled? No. You're here today. No. People like Bill Cosby don't get gigs because he's a pervert, right?
No, I can tell you somebody. I can tell you two people where there was a global effort to cancel us, right? And one was me, and he came after the Oprah Winfrey Wine-a-thon, where Meghan and Harry trashed my royal family and trashed the monarchy in the most despicable, disingenuous manner imaginable. 57,000 wokies bombarded the Ofcom television regulator. They weren't Good Morning Britain, the show I was doing, viewers. These were just woke left progressives who wanted me fired for disbelieving the claims about racism and mental health that were cited in that interview, which have never been substantiated and which I to this day do not believe. And I was told, you've got to apologize for this because the mob have come. You've got to apologize or lose your job. A job I was doing very successfully. Done it for 5 years, trebled the ratings. We just eclipsed the BBC as the #1 morning show. I was at the peak of my powers. But because I was exercising my right not to believe somebody who actually it turned out was spewing a lot of bullshit, I had to leave my job because I wasn't going to apologize. Now, let me give you the subject to that, which is far worse. Sharon Osbourne, my longtime friend, was hosting a show here called The Talk on CBS. She'd done it for 10 years. She loved that job. She was brilliant at that job. She defended me when asked about it. She didn't defend what I'd said. She just said, I'm here for my friend Piers, right? The black co-panelist, Cheryl Underwood, played the race card on the next episode of The Talk. She turned to Sharon on air and said, out of nowhere, it wasn't planned, why did you support someone who said racist things? I'd never said anything racist about Meghan Markle. Sharon, obviously under attack, saying she'd be supporting a racist, and by definition must therefore be a racist, said, well, what's he said that's racist? At which point Cheryl Underwood went on this ridiculous little, it's a point to it. Cheryl Underwood just said, it's not so much that he said racist things, it's kind of the way he said stuff. So Sharon says,
is this what you think people are talking about?
Wait a minute, yes, I'm going to come to it. So Cheryl Underwood says this, and then she said, I'm not accusing you of being racist, Sharon. Sharon says, I think that ship has sailed. Here's what happened to Sharon. For a job she loved. She was bombarded with death threats, online mayhem, vilified, shamed. People saying, fire her. Wait a minute, let me finish.
I think that's bad.
Let me finish. Fire her. Death threats as well. She eventually issued a groveling, sobbing apology. It still wasn't enough. She got fired from that job. For what? For absolutely nothing. For the next year, she had the worst year of her life.
I don't think that's what people talk about when you're talking about cancel culture.
Wait, you're talking about cancel culture, saying like no one has ever been.
You're talking about comedians who make a racist joke and somebody doesn't want to listen to them anymore.
What about Sharon Osbourne?
I don't know much about that. That sounds bad. That sounds bad. That sounds bad. I wouldn't cancel Sharon Osbourne.
Why did I have to leave my job for disbelieving Meghan Markle?
I don't know.
I cancel culture.
Yeah, but...
Hello.
Hi, Amanda.
Amanda, nice to meet you.
Nice. So cancel culture. I'm trying to understand, is it that you believe it's something that's not necessary within society to hold people accountable? Is it?
No, I do think accountability is very important. And individual companies are perfectly entitled to operate their own policies. What I'm talking about is where the woke mob, normally through social media, would pile pressure, and it's not exclusive to them, I've seen it happen with the right as well, but would pile pressure on companies, on institutions to fire people, often for what, in my opinion, were things that might be offensive to people or whatever, but they're not at the bar where they should lose their livelihoods.
Well, I do understand. I mean, there's a line when it comes to cancel culture where there are things that are taken too far, where people do lose their jobs for certain things that some people may find offensive or some people might not find offensive.
I mean, free speech, the whole point of free speech is not about you and I agreeing.
Exactly.
It's about our ability to listen to each other, and maybe you even saying hateful things to me. If they don't cross the bar of criminality, you're allowed to do that, and I should just suck it up. I don't have to like it, but I have to tolerate the fact in a free democratic society like the United States with the First Amendment, you're entitled to do that.
And see, that's where I disagree. I don't feel that it has to reach a bar of criminality in order for it to be something that someone has to be held accountable for. Though we have free speech, there does have to be lines drawn, because there are things that are inappropriate regardless. As you said when you were discussing books that are banned or certain things, the remarks you made about Meghan Markle, I don't agree that's something that you should be fired for, but I do see why there are people, and you need to look outside of your own perspective. There are people who felt that you needed to be canceled for such an instance.
Why?
Black women, especially around the world in the global West, they're oftentimes not listened to, and their problems, their pain, their mental health.
No. She's not about to do this shit right now. Oh my gosh. Not the fucking black woman shit, bro. I'm contemplating should I skip this one. I know you guys want to sit here and watch my misery right now, but this is right here is what gets me so mad and so frustrated with these bitches, bro. Bro, she's about to start going on this black woman sympathy train, and sit up here and says that, oh, black women are so the most disrespected women on the wall. They're the most non-heard women on the mall. They're the most kept down women of them all. Quite frankly, they're not, because they're just ignorant and stupid. Maybe not all, I would say. There's probably a small percentage that are actually worth probably hearing out. I wouldn't say listening to, but hearing out, of course. But the vast majority are just ignorant and dumb. It's not because, not because of racism. No, it's because of lack of IQ, lack of coherent understanding, pure ignorance, a lot of masculinity, a lot of non-following. I'll word that better. A lack of following directions. That's what black women do for the most part. So I'm contemplating should I listen to this, man.
Oftentimes disregarded or undermined. And so that's also been a problem in gynecology, which is why we see maternal rates for black women.
So you believe Meghan Markle?
I believe Meghan Markle.
Really?
Why wouldn't I believe
Let me give an example of why you probably shouldn't. So she said...
She believed her because she's black. I'm telling you. That's why she's going to say. She's going to say she believed her because she's black. In some cases, racial tribalism is a great thing, but in other cases, it's not. This is one of those cases. She's going to take up for her because she's black. Not because she lied. Not because she's just trying to have a sympathetic train. Not because she's trying to play the race card. Not because she's just trying to double down and label someone a racist when they're not. No. She'll believe her no matter what, even when she could be wrong, because she's a black woman. God, this is... Oh, bro. This shit always gets on my fucking nerves, bro. Always.
In that interview that she and Harry were married secretly by the Archbishop of Canterbury 3 days before the public wedding.
I recall.
Had that been true, the Archbishop of Canterbury would have committed a crime and would have gone to prison.
Yes.
Did you ever see him go to prison?
No, I did not.
Did that make you think that maybe that never happened?
Honestly, no, it did
Harry
not make me think that it's something that did not occur. I want to answer your
question. They said in that interview that senior members of the royal family, who we now know through a leaked copy of the book where the names appeared, were supposedly then Prince Charles, now King Charles, and Catherine, William's wife, made comments that they were concerned about the potential skin colour of the unborn baby.
Yes.
Do you believe on balance that that's likely to have happened?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Coming from the British institution, that's something that has been, for centuries trying to maintain the purity of the blood. Something that has been within British aristocracy.
White, can they?
No, I'm not saying.
What are you suggesting?
Something being white, if you're purposely trying to preserve it, it is something that you are doing.
You're not purposely trying to preserve
it. The way they interbred for years. I have studied English aristocracy for many years.
Did she just say inbred? Did she really just say that? What the fuck? Oh my gosh, bro. This is why you don't let women go up there and debate and say stupid shit like that, bro. Inbred. Try to keep it pure. No, when they say keep it pure, they probably want to marry a white woman, not in the family, of course. Now, of course, there is some stuff about inbreeding, but that was mainly with the Rothschilds. Of course, they were British, but they were Jewish. That's another part you have to remember. So she's coming up here and saying this about the inbred and stuff, about the royal family. When they say keep it pure, they don't mean inbreeding. This is complete torture for me.
The royal
And I will
family
say
have been
that-
deliberately trying to stay white.
What I will say is that conservatism oftentimes does have to tie with the purity of whiteness and white culture. And so there are a large majority of conservatives who do see whiteness as the main basis of being a conservative, of something that's very important that they need to preserve. And it's why a lot of times they exclude minorities, and why they feel as though things such as wokeness are poor. They shouldn't be included, because it's giving that pathway.
What should worry you more is that having set off this absolute inferno.
That's actually not true at all. But again, in some cases, yeah, it is. If they have that stance, that's good. Why not have love and purity for your race? Why not want to preserve your race? Again, race mixing is not a big issue to me. I don't really care about it, but I can put myself in their shoes and understand their perspective to where they want to preserve their race. You know, I'm mixed race, so I'm already a product of race mixing. My lineage is. So if I have sex with a black woman or I have sex with a white woman, I'll be mixing any way it goes. So it doesn't really matter.
About the royal family being a bunch of callous racists. Where's it? Harry then wrote a book. Do you remember the book Spare?
Yes, I have.
420 odd pages of his life story.
Yes.
Do you know the two things that didn't appear in that book? The racism allegations against his family about the skin color of their unborn child, and the fact that the Buckingham Palace officials apparently told Meghan Markle she couldn't get help for her suicidal thoughts. Those two things never got repeated, never appeared in their documentary, never appeared in the book. They just vanished.
It did appear in the documentary. I did watch the documentary.
When Harry was asked about it recently, he said, "Oh no, it was the media that put a racist tone on this. I never meant to say my family were racist." Oh yes, you did. We all watched what you guys said.
It's okay.
That's great.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Oh, yeah.
Shane.
Good to see you, Shane.
Nice to meet you. I want to take it back all the way to your original claim, and you've said a lot of examples. I don't think you provided a single example of how cancel culture is a violation of free speech.
Okay, I'll give you one. The 2 weeks before the election where Biden won, the New York Post got an exclusive story about Hunter Biden's laptop.
Sure.
It was okay, and people can laugh. Actually, contained incredibly damaging information, which may have led to serious charges against a lot of the Biden family. We now will never know because they've all been pardoned. But this story was suppressed by the left in the most disgraceful manner imaginable. The left at the time being all the tech giants.
Define suppressed.
They literally banned the New York Post account from their platforms.
Okay.
Until they took down the front page exclusive.
Free speech isn't protected on what platform you can speak on.
No,
these are private
you asked me
companies.
for an example of cancel culture.
I asked you for an example of violation of free speech, which is
a violation of free speech.
Which is a promise that the government will not come in and arrest you for anything you say.
Hang on.
You are not entitled to viewers on your show just because people agree.
I agree. Shane, let me make my point. You asked me for an example of where free speech had been suppressed.
Violated.
A major, violated.
Not suppressed, violated.
Violated. A major national American newspaper of 100+ years standing, the New York Post, had its account taken down on social media.
Did anyone get arrested?
Because they were exposing a true story about the son of the man who would be president and became president in a way that was directly intended to benefit Joe Biden and hinder Donald Trump's chances of winning that election.
And I don't agree with that question.
So that's what I mean.
But was anyone arrested?
What do you mean arrested?
Was any free speech violated that the government stepped in and arrested?
Well, I just told you the story, Graham, didn't I? He was arrested.
At the Heathrow Airport?
Yeah.
In the UK?
Yeah.
You don't have free speech in the UK.
Well, that's part of the problem, I agree.
That sounds like a UK problem, not a US problem.
The US has a big problem.
So I have the problem, but where has free speech been violated?
You
gave me one at Heathrow Airport.
I'll give you the New York Post example.
Who has been arrested? As a result of cancel culture, because someone has said something that was either bigotry, racist, sexist, whatever it is, and people are not entitled to have viewers based on their opinions.
I'm not saying they are.
If people disagree with you, they can say, "Oh, we're not going to watch you anymore." They're going to go out on social media and say, "Hey, everybody, let's stop watching this person because he came out as racist."
100%.
Okay, and that's not a violation of free speech.
No, Sharon Osbourne was fired, as I just told you.
Also, not a violation of free speech.
Of course, it was.
49 states are at will employing states. Companies can fire you for any reason that is not related to discrimination.
I agree. I've already said. I think you're misunderstanding me.
You're misunderstanding me.
I've already said that companies are perfectly entitled to do what they like. They're private businesses, right?
Yes.
So CBS was perfectly entitled to do it. But was it a violation of Sharon's free speech rights? What they did? Yes.
No, not a violation. It was suppression. It was. I don't agree with it.
What's the difference?
I think she didn't get arrested for what she said.
Well, violation doesn't mean you get arrested.
Yes, being violated of your free speech, being able to not
violate you without involving arresting you.
Is that what you see when you look at me? No, that is what we have in our Constitution that is protected. You can say and do whatever you want.
You have better protections here than we do in the UK.
I agree. But your speech is protected. You can be as hateful, as angry, as misogynistic as you want to be, and people can hate you for that.
Yeah.
Consequences. You do not have a right to be on a platform and get to say whatever you want.
Sure.
You can.
But if I say right now on camera, I think you should be shot dead, that is actually a criminal offence.
No.
And I would be arrested.
If you said you wanted to shoot me dead or you're encouraging people to shoot me dead, that is not protected free speech. That is a threat.
Correct. It's a crime.
You saying I should be shot dead is free speech. My point being, and that makes you look like a terrible person.
Right. Not all. Yeah, I agree.
And you're not going to be arrested for that.
I've already made the point that hateful speech has to be tolerated in a free democratic society.
I agree.
Right, where it passes the bar of criminality, then obviously the law enforcement take over, and that's how it should be. The problem comes, and it's been more of a problem in my country than here, I agree, but I do think in terms of suppressing free speech, what was going on with things like the New York Post story being suppressed was absolutely disgraceful.
I agree. We're not disagreeing on that. Your claim was
That's another point of agreement. We end up agreeing. I love that.
He's not understanding exactly what.
Barker, you're too annoying. Nick, I've chosen Nick to come back for the final debate, which will be his debate, because he impressed me during our conversation earlier, and that cannot be said about everybody that's sat opposite me today. So, Nick, come to the chair.
Good to talk to you again, Pierce. Welcome back. My surrounded claim is that discussions of woke politics are merely a distraction from our common enemy, the billionaire class. So, as I just said, I think that these discussions of woke, whether we're saying that.
All right, that's it. I can't do it. I'm not watching that. I don't really give a damn about that. But it's the same rhetoric every fucking time. We already know what they're gonna say. They're gonna start complaining about the billionaire class making too much money. They need to be taxed at a higher degree. I don't really want to hear that. So we're gonna move on. We are going to, holy crap, literally holy crap. We're going to the poop festival. Oh man, I'm glad I didn't eat nothing before the well, I did eat something earlier, but I'm glad it's dissolved now, because bruh, it's disgusting.
So much shit.
Let me up the speed to 1. Good thing I got this in HD. I might go full screen for this one, so that way we can get a full screen reaction to this.
That's me at a poop throwing festival in India, where the villagers spend 6 months collecting cow poop and celebrate the end of Diwali by throwing it at each other and rubbing it on their skin.
What the hell?
And this is the story of how, after immersing myself into this unusual tradition, I was doxxed, harassed, and threatened by tens of thousands of Indians who weren't happy with me filming this village's holiest tradition.
Our god, the Vireshwara Swami, is born from this cow dung, so we are celebrating this.
It all started when I flew over 10,000 miles to South India, linked up with my translator Vivek, and began our trek into the remote village of Gumatapura. Did this village still celebrate this strange tradition, or is it merely a legend of the past? After a couple-hour drive and immediately upon arrival, we were met with unmatched hospitality. Okay, we made it. Oh, thank you very much. My friend, you're too nice to me.
President member.
President.
President.
Okay.
Every home have some cattle.
Can we see?
Yeah, okay. And they have collected the dung of it.
And this local was kind enough to bring me inside his home and show me something very important he'd been stockpiling. Oh, right here. Okay, doesn't smell that bad at all. And how long did it take to collect all this poop?
More than 5 or 6 months.
5 or 6 months? All of this? 6 months worth of poop. So halfway into the year, you need to begin the collection.
This is for small.
This is small. So a little bit right here. I see. Fresh right there.
But it's
fresh off.
You smell it for bad, but
it's pretty intense. Yeah.
Scientific taste for it's not for you just eating for little bit daily.
Eat it. Eat a little bit.
Little bit eating. Scientific taste for it's for not coming for cancer.
Okay, so scientifically proven that if you eat a little bit, it cures cancer.
Daily.
How much do you eat daily? Can you show me? Like just a small. You don't have to do it. I just want to see how much. Just a small amount.
Small. Anything you can eat it.
How does it taste?
But we are playing our bodies. Any other stitching or anything is not come.
Okay. So scientifically,
you can take and check it in your lab.
Yeah.
That's it come because of our daily we can take in the smell is come.
Yeah.
Any other kitchen or anything is not come.
Okay. Okay. So this helps the immune system. And do the kids eat it as well? Does the whole, no, just the men.
We don't. We have daily eating.
Okay. You don't do that.
But scientifically it's come.
Okay. Scientifically it's good for you.
But any cancer or anything.
Okay.
It's come.
Decreases risk of cancer.
Very less.
Okay. Much less.
Much less.
Understood. This is a very rare and exclusive event. Only celebrated here.
Only celebrated in this village in whole of India.
Can you explain where we're at? Because India is a very large nation. 1.45 billion people.
We are in the southwestern part of India.
Okay.
In the state of Karnataka.
Okay.
A small village called Gumetapura.
Extremely welcoming people.
Extremely welcoming.
We came here, no announcement. They welcome us like we're family.
Family, yes.
So I gotta say thank you very much. Gumetapura. These cows tomorrow will be an essential part of the celebration. Holy godlike figures, right?
Yes. That is why they are in a hurry today.
Why are they in a hurry?
They are in rush. They are going to.
They have lots of work to do.
Yeah, they have lots of work to do.
Happy Diwali. I'm here for Gorehapa. Yes. I came from Texas to see Gorehapa. Gorehapa, yes. Why did they start doing it?
They actually found in this place. There was a lot of cow dung here, and one day suddenly they found an idol of a goat here.
In the poop.
In the cow dung. So the Vireshwara is the name of the temple, and it is believed whosoever will play that festival, any problem, skin disease, they will be getting cured. Yeah.
Amazing.
Because they believe their god also originated from the cow dung. So the cow dung is like a blessing. That is why they believe using that cow dung, it heals, gives them prosperity and blessings. They believe if you participate in the festival, if you have any wish, and if you're not granting a child, so the Lord will fulfill your wishes.
And is it just for a good time too?
Well, good time is part of every festival.
Happy Gorehapa! Let's go. All right, now the village leader is going to show me the biggest pile of dung in the village. After the locals confirmed I could participate in the festival tomorrow, I wanted to see the sheer scope of how much cow poop was collected for the festival. I began to see piles upon piles of cow poop everywhere in the village. Cow dung. Oh my God. Good God. Look at that pile. It's huge. It's huge. Wow. Wow, that is a large stockpile of cow dung. I'm getting giddy just thinking about it. I'm getting a little bit too excited, if you know what I mean. Tomorrow we'll throw it at each other. It'll cure sicknesses, perform miracles, fulfill dreams, anything and everything. This is miraculous. Our other guy said he has his own stockpile. Everyone has their own stockpile. How long did it take? 4 months. 4 months. 5 months. 5 months. 5 months.
15,000.
15, that's it? The pile's going to be huge tomorrow. Tomorrow, I suspect it's going to be 20 feet in the air. It's huge. Happy Diwali. Truly, everyone is smiling. And the village leader is taking me somewhere. He has a vision. And you might be wondering, after the villagers cover their bodies in cow poop, how exactly do they clean themselves afterwards? Right behind me is the lake where they're going to bathe themselves in after the event.
Bruh, this is so disgusting, man. This is so disgusting. Oh my gosh, bruh. Bruh, I swear. And this is who Trump wants to come in and take care of jobs in the STEM field. This is who these big giant tech corporations want to hire to take your jobs. This is what they want to come in. They want these people to come in and fill America with their poop festivals. They want to bring the poop festivals here and us have to throw these poop festivals in America.
It looks maybe not like the cleanest place to take a bath afterwards.
After they'll go home and they'll take a clean bath also from their own water. Also, but first it's a ritual.
This is going to be amazing. You've never celebrated Goraba before.
No, this is because this is the only place in whole of India where they celebrate it.
So disclaimer, not all of India celebrates this event.
Of course, yes. No.
And we need to let that be known.
Sure.
But this village does.
This village does, because this village is named Gomatipura, which is village of cows, village for cows.
But it's important to acknowledge that cow dung is considered holy in Hinduism and believed to have purifying and sanctifying properties. Many people smear it inside their homes to purify the space, and it's believed that the goddess Lakshmi herself resides within it. Do you want to say anything about Goraba?
Yeah, bro, this is like a festival we are celebrating around 300 years back. Like our god, the Vireshwara Swami, is born from this cow dung, so we are celebrating this.
Okay, are you nervous?
No.
You're excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. This is not first time for me. I'm playing for 16 years.
Okay. And have you witnessed any healing miracles? Have you seen anyone be healed?
Yeah.
Exactly. 1, 2, 3. Happy Goraba! He's showing me the largest pile in the village right now. He's a very nice man. The whole village is very friendly. Hello. Happy Diwali. Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone here is extremely nice. I would recommend to come down here. The nicest village I've been to, maybe. Insane. The world is huge and wildly different from one another. In this culturally homogenized, globalized planet we live in, it's easy to think that we're all the same, but truly there are some fascinating cultural differences, some ancient traditions like this that are breathtaking. Truly, everyone is smiling. Oh, there it is. There's even more. It keeps coming. More cow dung right here for Goraba. Are you excited for Goraba? Yes. Look at all this. The sheer quantity of cow dung. And there's even more. Truly huge. This is a massive pile. Everyone has their own stockpile. Okay, we have cow. We have this man who's just leading me somewhere. Even more cow dung. It just keeps coming. Simon, how will they move all the poop? Well, tractor. They will use tractors to move all of this poop to the city center. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The logistics to move all this cow poop, they've taken several months to collect it all. Look at all this. Look at all of this. My God. That is cow shit right behind me. That is cow shit.
Slipper, no.
Slippery?
No.
Okay. And my shoe right now is covered in cow shit. Cow poop explosion. Cow poop bomb. The innovations here are breathtaking. Okay, that will be used tomorrow to transport the cow dung to the massive city center pile. Fireworks you keep hearing are celebrating Diwali. We have even more. Even more cow poop. It just keeps coming. Wow. Can I smell it? You thought that pile over there was big? You haven't seen a fraction of what you'll see tomorrow. Seeing the sheer scale of poop gathered for the festival, the next day, it was time to celebrate. I might need to throw on a hazmat very quickly. Wow. If traveling villagers here to celebrate, there's complete chaos happening right now. Just look. All sorts of people coming in right now. Happy Diwali, happy Goraba. What is this right here? Is this cow dung?
No, this is just a fire.
It smells very good.
Yeah.
Hello. But before our poop throwing war could begin, there were several other traditions involving the use of cow poop leading up to it. Very beautiful. Happy Diwali. Wow, wow, wow. And holy shit. Literally. And as the festivities began, the villagers were scrounging up any remaining cow poop they could spare in time for our legendary poop-throwing war. So piece by piece, he's adding to the pile. Before you know it, it'll be a large pile. They'll get a tractor, put it in the tractor, and then the villagers are collecting piece by piece, poop by poop. More poop over there. Really poop everywhere. Every piece of poop counts. Don't forget it. That right there is freshly shat. This will be extremely valuable ammunition in the poop war. And I'm excited to see it fly. I've really waited about 12 months for this day. I bought the flights 10 months ago. We're just gonna have a good time. We're just gonna have a good time. Keep in mind, women cannot throw the poop. They cannot participate. Probably a great moment where the lack of female rights in this instance benefit them and their cleanliness. Okay, all along the streets there is poop. This is a shit show of magnitudes never before seen. A fecal fiasco of a scale never precedented. These cows are used as artillery machines. Imagine the factories in World War II. Okay, this cow's getting a little ballsy on me, scaring me a little bit.
Generally, I wonder, like, what's the appeal about bringing Indians here? Like, I generally don't understand. Of course, they're like the highest paid group in America, quite frankly. They are the highest earning groups because they earn a lot of the supermarkets. They work in a lot of tech fields. Like, people got to look up, like, Indians are like one of the minority groups that are very wealthy. Very well off, very rich. And why is that? Well, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of answers to this question, but there's one thing, there's another key point that I want to bring it back to. If they're so well off when they come to America They come here and get these job fields, get these opportunities, make this much money, get in these positions of power. Why does their country look like shit? Why does India look like this? Dinesh D'Souza, Vivek Ramaswamy, they complain about when people criticize India and Indians, period. But looking at the country, looking at this festival, no pun intended, this is complete shit. The country's shit. It's disgusting, man. This is just pure and utterly disgusting.
The young men, I think, are excited. Piece by piece, continues to be produced. I mean, the production rate out here is astonishing. Oh, she has more dung. And keep in mind, she will not be throwing the poop, but it'll be essential. We're witnessing the poop supply chain, if you will. And we have all of these devices to collect all the poop. I'm getting a little bit nervous now. The more cows I see, the more poop I smell. I'm like, how big can this event be? I think it's gonna be bigger than I ever imagined. And as the tractors came in, preparing to haul the poop ammunition into the town center, you might be wondering if everyone here is excited to cover themselves in cow poop and if they believe it actually has healing properties. But real quick, before we go back to India, in this era of media corruption and bias, it's tough to know what's fake news and what's real news. But luckily, the sponsor of this video, Straight Arrow News, can help you find fact-based reporting from the left, right, and center. Using their wealth grew by nearly $700 billion over the last year on the right, and Gavin Newsom defends his support for Biden's re-election in NBC interview on the left. As I edited this Oliveira for free. Thanks, Straight Arrow News. Back to the poop festival. Can we ask them what this tradition means to them?
The significance is just to dedicate it to the god.
Okay.
Vireshwara,
Why did they throw the poop at each other?
The Lord who appeared from this cow dung.
Yep.
One of the elders of the village, he came in the dream and told him, you celebrate this every year, I'll keep this village and you people blessed and happy. And they believe that after doing that, it helps your skin.
And has he seen that in the past? Has he seen people and their skin be healed?
In the whole village, because they play the festival every year, so nobody gets any skin disease, any skin problem.
I see. And does it work?
It's working already because nobody gets any skin disease.
Does anyone get sick from the poop when it gets in their eyes or their mouth or their nose?
No.
Does the village eat any of the cow poop for cancer prevention?
No.
Just the guy met. Okay, nobody. Okay.
Just one person is exception.
Just one person, okay. Yeah, I meant the only guy who eats cow poop.
And no one in surrounding area in the villages, no one has a skin disease.
I see, very nice, smooth skin. Why can't the women play with the poop?
You can go in the temple, they do worshipping, they do everything else.
But the poop.
But because of the dream appeared to one of the men, he said, you men come and celebrate, the Lord said.
You will be throwing the poop?
Yes.
And how many years have you celebrated Goraba?
15 years.
Does it clear your skin? What does the cow poop do to your body?
No, bro, we just throw the direct, that's all.
Just for fun?
It has been followed from many years.
I see. He said, does it heal? He said, we just throw it at each other, bro. Ask a Muslim his opinion on Goraba.
He will also participate.
You will participate? Yes. Okay, Muslims participate.
Yes.
As I told you, it's a cultural thing rather than a religious.
Cultural rather than religious. Can you ask them if they've witnessed any healing miracles throughout this festival?
Celebration itself is a miracle, they say, because they don't get any skin disease. That means they're already getting blessings from God.
Amazing. Will it work in any other village or just this village? Because the prophecy, the dream happened here.
Only this, because the belief is for this village only.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Other villages can come and be part of it, but they're not allowed to celebrate it.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because it seems like big skincare industry would collapse overnight if we had this festival everywhere. So while the women do not participate, she has some of the dirty work to be done here in actually collecting these piles of poop. Hi, happy Diwali. Ask her if can you ask her if she wants to celebrate? Does she have any desire to be in the poop? She said no. Good to meet you. Can I see his poop? Is that okay?
Yes.
Is it okay if I see your poop? Okay, let's go. So take a look at this. All sorts of poop, barefoot, walking through here. Wow. Okay, now I smell something for sure. Wow, very good, very good. And has he seen anyone get sick from the poop getting in their eyes or mouth?
No. Scientific is
He was saying scientific what?
That's scientific. This I am an environmental laboratory in Mysore. I'm killing the bacteria. Scientific is
when saying so benefit for the earth as a manure, it's very beneficial. It is believed for your body. Okay, he believes it's scientific.
And to my surprise, I went back to the temple as the festivities began. A mainstream news reporter was here. All the friends. No, I'm friends. A French news station. Yes. Okay, very nice. We have another photographer right here. Keep in mind, while mainstream news can upload coverage of cultural events like these,
ಸಗಣಿ ಹಬ್ಬನ ಯಾಕೆ ಆಚರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ವೀರೇಶ್ವರ ಸ್ವಾಮಿಯವರು ಲಿಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಗಣಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಜನ್ಮ ಕಾಲಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
And it's considered journalism. It seems like when individuals like myself go, it's a racist attack on their culture. Sigh. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I uploaded this teaser clip of this poop throwing festival. It's evolved into tens of thousands of Indian nationalists trying to ruin my life.
Hey bro, I wanna fuck your sister, man. I wanna put my dick inside on your sister's pussy. You wanna suck my dick, you motherfucker, you son of bitch.
Of course, I've gone through far too much shit to not upload this video.
Tell me your full name. 1 minute. What do you do? How old are you? And where are you from?
My name is Tyler Oliveira. I'm 25 years old. I've traveled nearly 10,000 miles from Texas, USA. I thought it was a myth. I thought it was a legend. I thought it was fiction. And now here I am with everyone, ready to celebrate, ready to see the poop fly, the shit smear, and to celebrate an amazing holiday, hopefully. Thank you for having me, everyone. Holy shit. Let the Rama begin. Now they're bringing the poop our direction, ready to be smeared and thrown at the children. Soccer shit going on! Happy Grandma! Okay, it's an amazing event. I want to give a shout out to the village. You guys are amazingly hospitable, kind people. Happy Diwali. God bless you. God bless India. Let the shit show begin! We must catch up with the poop. We gotta catch up with the poop. Okay. The cow poop has been released. More poop. Mayday, mayday. Oh, this thing on this one's next level. This is gargantuan. This is more poop than we ever could have imagined. A full truckload of cow poop being unloaded right now. It's gotta be a ton worth of poop. But before the adult men battle it out in a pile of poop a size larger than your imagination is capable of conceiving, the kids first have a smaller scale battle of their own. Oh, it's a war song. Battle's over. How many kids going to the right here? It just never ends. This is phenomenal. Yeah, will you be playing? Okay, very good. Amazing. I gotta say, this level's starting to get to me. I'm gonna walk out here. This spared me. Oh, no! Oh, I've been covered. I've been hit. As the kids marched to and from every house in the village, battling it out, some were having fun and some were not. Oh, right here! Oh. He's run! Run! Get him! Yeah, get him! Oh! Evacuate! He got hit. While the kids finished their poop war, the battle preparations for the grown men were nearly complete. My God, look at the sheer scope of poop right here. Look at how much shit there is. Oh my God, I'm slipping. Just look at how much there is. There's a lot of poop right here. My feet instantly sunk into it. Unbelievable quantities of shit right here. Truckloads of poop. Just dumped down to the main city street right now. Oh my goodness. Unfathomable quantities of shit. That one smells. Another truckload. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 truckloads of poop right here. May the shit be with you. Unbelievable. Swiping it. Powerful sense. We're gonna recharge and prepare for war. With the poop unloaded, the march towards the battlefield had begun. They're ready to go. Here they are. All right. But first, these guys rolled in the grass. Wow. And then the men gave this donkey a bath in the water for some reason. I did all the food. Oh. Go back! Go back! My God! I did this. My friend here. Look at that crazy. This poor donkey. This donkey man went for hell. And finally, the gladiators entered the poop coliseum. U.S. Texas. Take them up. Okay. The dogs are coming off. Will you be covered in poop by the end of this?
Yeah, that's okay, thank you.
My friend, I may be too. I'm nervous. Time for war. Everyone get in your stations. Okay, yes. They're going for it. Oh my God. My goodness. Unbelievable. Happy Gorama! Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm covered in shit. I got hit. I swear, the moment I stepped in the pile of poop, it nearly swallowed me whole. It sucked me in!
I'm getting sick of looking at this.
This is disgusting! This is unbelievable! I was hesitant to get my hands dirty. I realized the throwing of this poop was far more violent and aggressive than I expected. This was war. The men were throwing poop meteors, enough to concuss each other. I was naive to think I could be a war journalist without getting shot in the crossfire. Hey, it's right for me! It's over! Oh my God! India's poop card festival! The smell in here! It's inexplicable! Please spare me, God! I'm covered in shit! I gotta throw up! Oh my God! Any clean part of my body will do. Do you want water? Just a paper towel, anything. They got me good. I was defeated. What if what the Indians online had said about me was true? Was my immune system weak, and was my mind even weaker? How could this be the thing that broke me? I had traveled over 10,000 miles for this day. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm good. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. And I couldn't let India down as their first participant from America. I refused to let the poop win.
I'm gonna try again.
I had to make it all the way through to the other side of the battlefield.
I'm about to throw up right now. Fuck, bro. I can't make it through this bitch.
No. Oh, a fatality.
Bro, I'm getting so squeamish watching this shit. This is just insane to me, bro. This is disgusting, man. Oh my gosh, this is so disgusting. I don't mean to be a drama queen right now, but bro, this is just like, oh my gosh, this is so disgusting.
So I loaded up on ammunition. Thank you. He's instantly reloading. Thank you. Is it right? And began pushing forward towards fecal nirvana. Let's go for it. It's kind of fun. It's very fun. It's pretty fun. I like it. Thank you. This is complete warfare. You can barely navigate this shit right now. You can barely navigate it. Oh, I'm gonna hit.
This is festival time proof.
Yeah. And you're number one. Amazing. Let's get out of here. Oh my god. Oh, wait. Please help me out of this. Oh my god. I'm gonna die. He's gonna shoot my face. This is. I'm sinking. I'm 90 day. They're gonna kill me. So much shit. We keep pushing. I don't want to touch it. I'm the one for shit. Even with the hazmat suit and goggles, I had reached my limit. That was shittier than I expected. Oh, yes. That was the shittiest experience of my life. I don't even know what to say right now. I got my ass beaten there. These guys don't play around. I got mosh pit, but worse. I pray to God I don't get E. coli, salmonella, or Giardia. Oh, thank you. That was the shittiest experience of my life. It is kind of fun throwing at people straight in the head. It's pretty satisfying. That was fun. Would I recommend it? No. Am I happy to enjoy it? I guess. Do I ever want to come back to this again? No. Will I ever forget this? Absolutely not. Was everyone here extremely nice? Absolutely. Amazingly kind village. And I will definitely be doing blood work very soon.
No.
If you enjoyed that, go support us at patreon.com/Oliveira. $5 a month, extending early access to videos like these. And an extended version of this documentary will be up in the next couple days.
Is it a extended version of this? Is it a extended version of this? Oh my gosh, bro. Anyways, that one's kind of hard to make it through. I'm not gonna lie. That was kind of fighting not to throw up on that one. But hey, we made it through. Oh my gosh. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Like I said, leave a like as per usual. Leave a comment. We back next one. Touch up on more Venezuela news. What's going on with the war? Talk about Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption case, and might find a little video or something else we can react to afterwards if I have time. After the news, of course. After I cover the news, I'm usually just exhausted. I'm ready to move on from that. But anyways, guys, have a good one. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. And hopefully you guys can make it through the video like I did.